You ain't got a lie to kick 'em, my nigga. Culture vultures. Yes. Oh, we here. Yeah. You ain't got a lie to kick it. Check, 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 check. HQ Live, episode 7. Episode 7. Guys, let me pick somebody to trust to let me know everything's good. Number one, can you hear our intro music? Azul, I'm gonna pick on you because you got on first. My guy Azul, I'm gonna use you. Can you hear me? You ain't gotta lie. Salita, what up, baby? Good. Can you hear that intro music? You ain't gotta lie. Can you see the background? Moody, what up? We clash a lot, my Nigerian brother, but you my brother. Can you see that vulture, that cool looking culture vulture? Guys, I have a confession. You ain't gotta lie to kick it, my nigga. Shout out Kendrick Lamar, mama said. Nah, that's not Drake, Azul, calm down. Hey guys, yesterday I went live, right? And I was smoking hookah, and they restricted my live. I got hookah today again, and I'm gonna stop smoking it after a while, but I gotta get my last few puffs in. So every time I move the camera away, it's cause I'm smoking. That's only gonna last for 15 minutes. I'm gonna put the hookah away. However, what I'm not gonna put away is the Hennessy 50 years of hip hop. Can y'all see that? The Hennessy 50 years of hip hop. I will be sipping a little bit on this live. Yes, Stace, it's a vibe because I don't feel like arguing sober without a little bit of buzz, because y'all gonna annoy me this topic. Culture vultures. All right, that's enough. As y'all get ready, as y'all get loaded up, let me go ahead and pour myself a drink. Let me go ahead, pull out the 50 years of hip hop Hennessy bottle. Oh yes. Culture vultures. This is for the non-Africans. I think we got to get that out the way first. A lot of y'all know I'm of Nigerian heritage, but I am a black man in America. And for me, my conversations are always going to be about black people all across. I don't exclude the diaspora. But however, it's going to connect with hip hop fans who don't have to be black. You can be Asian, you can be white, right? Baba, I'm going to decline you. We're not putting on guests. Yes, I am going to talk about DJ Vlad and Marlon. But you don't have to be black to have these conversations. But we are going to talk about the, consumption of black art all across the world, but specifically hip hop. And the culture vulture, Santan, thank you so much. And we're going to try to get down to the basics. Angie, what up? Hey, Angie, when I move my camera like this, because you was on a live last night, they tried to ding me for having hookah, Angie. So what I've decided to do is every time I'm smoking hookah, I'm going to put the camera up so the camera can't see like this. The camera can't tell, so they can't restrict me. I'm not going to smoke hookah the whole live, though. When I put the camera down like that, just know I'm on the hooks. Let me go ahead and get that AirPods on so y'all can hear me beautifully. Oh, yes. half asleep on my live. Believe that's support. All right, I got the AirPods on. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me clearer? No, it's not an ice and wine day. That's why you can't be late. You can't be late because if you were not late, Angie, you would know it's a Hennessy very special hip hop 50th anniversary day. Oh yes. Oh yes. With a little bit of pineapple mango. Oh yes. Let me go ahead and get my last few puffs in real quick because this conversation is going to be about culture vultures today. I don't think it's going to be crazy. I think crazy is saying a lot. I don't think it's going to be crazy, but I think it's going to be. I want to have a serious, honest conversations. I want to first, number one, Terrence. What do you mean by why don't it connect? You talking about my beard? Sorry, that's I don't know what. Okay. First and foremost, before we even get into the conversation, let everybody know the reason I look like this and I'm getting a little late is because I gotta go to a brunch spot after this. It's a Afro beats hip hop. That's why you gotta be in the Northeast. In the Northeast, there's no diaspora wars. We love each other over here. It's an Afro beats hip hop spot, and what's gonna be happening? Oh my God, I just messed with my connections. Let me go ahead and unhook this. Yeah, we got brunch. Yeah, it's not really a brunch. It's honestly like a day party. Let's be honest, that's what it is. Hold on, I gotta get my settings. I gotta get my settings fixed, y'all. It's honestly a day party. I just messed with my settings. At the end of the day, it's really a day party, guys. And yeah, it's not like it's really a day party. And the idea, okay, let's get back. Oh my God, technical difficulties early. It's really a day party, guys. They just call it a brunch. Technical difficulties early is crazy. Get it together. They calling it a brunch. Am I good? Am I good? Are y'all okay? They calling it a brunch. But let me get a few people on. Let me get my, how I'm gonna get my people on first, and then we're gonna open the floor for glass as we intro. So let me go ahead and invite Angie up here. Salita, I'm inviting you, Salita. So if you're not ready to talk, fix your mic. Aunt Salita, Portia, and Angie, they're my people. Azul, I don't know if you want to get on. How y'all doing? Quadi, what up? All right, guys. All right, guys. Get it together. When you don't see me on the camera, it's because I'm finishing the last of this hookah. Portia, what up? That's you on your mic right now?
Hey.
Hey,
Oh,
girl.
yeah. Can you hear that? I'm sorry. I'm driving.
You outside driving. I'm going to mute you real quick.
My bad.
Hold on. Now, I'm going to get you on, but I'm just going to say intro everybody. Let me go ahead unmute Angie. As we let more people, y'all go ahead, like the live, man. Like the live. Portia, I appreciate you. Yes, I appreciate that dedication. How y'all doing today? How y'all feeling?
Good.
All right, I love that. Angie, Aunt, what's up?
All good. A little recovering from last night. Got home around 5 a.m. So,
Oh yeah, you was
I
bugging.
was outside.
You were going out while I was already out. I didn't understand that.
What do you
I was
mean?
You were going out while I was already out. You talking about some you was getting dressed to go to Queens while I was already out. You
I
a
bet,
night
but the
owl for
party,
real.
the party don't really start till midnight.
All right, see, that's ridiculous. You New Yorkers are insane. I don't understand that. I be rooting for the tri-state, but New Yorkers are a different breed.
Listen, the party don't
Disturbing.
start till midnight and it'll end till 5, maybe
Okay.
even later. But I like to go home a little bit before that.
What time do you get home? 4 p.m. or something? 4 a.m.?
Yeah, like sometimes between like 4 to 5, so like 4:30 ish. It was late.
That,
I'm tired today, but
I'm
I'm
too old
here.
for that. Nah, I can't do that no more.
Yeah, I've been out 3 days in a row. I'm bugging, but.
yeah, sit down, enjoy the live. Hey, and I just remember something. And my DJ that I'm about to go link up with that's doing this party, I ain't gonna hold you, bro. One day when I get him on live, he gonna remember I said this. You sound just like him. Y'all both sounding like his name is DJ Chief. He actually DJ'd my album release party. You sound just like that brother, bro. It's crazy, man. I never heard anything like it.
That is wild.
Oh my god. The Henny is kicking my ass. I just got off the phone with him. Anyway, guys, today's episode is going to be about culture vultures. Um, there are a number of things that I want to address, but the first thing we got to get on point is I want to know what the hell a culture vulture is, right? I'm speaking from a standpoint of, you know, I think you can vulture from any culture. So I'm not going to say that this is only unique to Black art, but I want people to understand that I'm speaking to Black art. Obviously, speaking specifically to hip hop for my African American brothers and sisters. I'm speaking to Afro beats. I'm speaking to rock. I'm speaking to reggae. You guys understand what I'm saying? So I want people to understand that that's what the conversation is. So, there are a few things. Shout out to chat. Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. So I want to open the floor to you guys first and foremost before I even start talking about what I think a culture vulture is. But I want to ask the chat first before I go to my guest. And if you want to be a guest, please request. I think today might be an intimate live because ain't nothing really going on with beef. This might end up being a beef conversation, but it might be an intimate live. So I want us to have a really solid time, have intelligent conversations. I think the type of lives when I end up having like 200 people or something sometimes is not as productive. So I know that it's all about numbers, but sometimes I like when it's just us. And y'all know who us is. I don't know how to explain it. But I like when it's just us and we can just chat it up. And whoever shows up, shows up. So chat, first and foremost, please. Ready, set, go. What do you think a culture vulture is? Come on. Dum, 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 dum.
Whoa.
No, hold
What
on,
do you
hold on,
think
hold
of?
on, Ant. I want to see what the chat says.
Oh, all right.
Portia's biggest fan. Who is Portia? Who is that? Money Honey. Portia, you have fans. All right, chat. What is a culture vulture? What do you think a culture vulture is? Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. Before I get to the guests, what do you think a culture vulture is? I'm gonna add Quaddy too. What do you think a culture vulture is? Santan says these days I have no idea. Fair enough. Let me get my fan on. It's hot. Post Malone. You're naming artists. We're gonna get to artists, Jalen, but that's not what I'm asking. I want to know what you think the definition of a culture vulture is. Azul says, I think it's something to take or someone to take from a culture without giving it the proper respect and spotlight. I like that answer a lot. That might be my favorite answer of the day. What do you think a culture? How would you define culture vulture? Let's go. How would you define culture vulture? How would you define? I get the span right. A culture vulture. All right, let's go to the panel. I'm gonna start with Q. What's up, my brother? My brother.
What's going on, man? What's going on?
How you doing, man? Everybody outside today. Ola says a culture vulture is someone who takes and doesn't give, only for their own benefit by whatever means. I like that answer, even if it hurts those in the culture. I love that answer. Sounds similar to Azul. Um,
Yeah,
um,
I say,
Tim, taking from the culture and not giving back is a definition to me. Q, you got the floor, brother. Talk to me. Give me some insight. I've been watching a lot of your videos. Even though you do it in blank screen, even though you turn the comments off, you got some great bleeping insight, brother. Let me tell you, let
nah,
me give you your flowers.
I appreciate that. Thank you. You know what I'm saying?
You
Me
have
personally, when it comes to like being a culture vulture, it's pretty much like using a culture that you're not from, but in a disrespectful way, just using it to get ahead. You're not giving back to the culture. You're not trying to like improve the culture. You're just like, oh, this looks cool. Let me get into that. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
let me ask you a question before you move on, please.
go ahead, go
Because I
ahead.
want to clarify. Do you think that that only applies to like race, or do you think it's ethnicity, culture as an ethnicity? And I'll tell you why I say that in a bit. I want to make sure I get this right. I'm looking for a pen. I want to take some notes with y'all. I'm listening, brother. Go ahead.
To be honest, I don't think it depends on your race. I really think anybody can be a culture vulture, no matter like. I even think some black people can be culture vulture because like I know
Interesting.
there's certain subcultures in different cities. I think it's all about how you approach it and how you show love to it. Like if
Now
you
let me
just
ask you. Hold on. Hold on.
go ahead.
What makes you from that culture? Is it being born into it, or is it living in that area where the culture originated from? Hmm.
It's a mixture of both. Of me personally, I'm gonna say you got to be raised into it. Like when it even like hip hop culture, that's its own culture within itself. And like that's one of the things like you gotta like be born into it. Like I remember like I only gotta remember like my uncles and my moms and all my I won't call them old heads, but like the people above me showed me like older music like Biggie, Big L, you know what I'm saying? All like that.
So you
That
mean
New
being
York.
raised into it, being raised into this culture,
Yeah,
being
like
but
having
you
some
also
insight
know that
into
it's
it.
regional, right? Like so you're saying it's also could be regional.
It can be regional, but like I said, you are not a culture vulture if you come into a culture and you show nothing but respect to it, and you get some insight into it, and you enjoy the culture. Like if you just a person that's just coming into it and just thinking it's fun and games, like I was talking about this with another creator because he made a conversation about the young nigga trend. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but the YN trend, and I was like, it technically I don't like when like people try to make a mockery of it and just try to play it because it is a real thing. Like I'm like 20 minutes away from Philadelphia. Them young niggas are active out there, so like it's a real
Those are the
thing.
quote unquote young guys.
Young
I
people,
get you.
yeah, like
Yeah, I
they
get
out
you.
there, but
So
like
your definition, I just want to make sure I get it. Your definition is, and I really want to, and then I'm gonna move on to Angie because I want to take a little bit. That's why I got my pen and paper. So a culture vulture is someone who is not from a specific culture, which sometimes can be overall and can have subgroups, but is appropriating instead of appreciating and just leeches off of it like a vulture.
exactly.
Okay. Just hold that thoughts. Hold some of those thoughts, brother. I'm gonna write some of your stuff down. Man, I got so excited for today's live because I already know this is gonna be one that we really gonna get deep, pause if necessary. And we really gonna touch on a lot of things. And I want to write a few people down before I move on with you, Q. I want to talk about Vlad today. I want to talk about Ian. Normally, my last video I made about culture vultures, I had told you I don't want to mention some of these people's names, but for the sake of the live, I am going to mention Ian. I'm going to mention Lil Mabu. Eminem is not a culture vulture, but I am going to talk about Eminem.
Yeah, now that's crazy.
Mac Miller is not a culture vulture. I'm going to talk about Mac Miller.
Those off the table.
Drake is not a culture vulture.
Off the table. Thank
I'm
you.
gonna talk about Drake though. I'm gonna talk about myself. I'm gonna talk about and I just want to talk about black artists and in terms of race. We'll talk about ethnicity. I just want to write all this down, and I'm gonna talk about other groups. And I just want you guys to know this conversation isn't specific to black art all across the diaspora, but however, I think black person can appropriate Indian music, right? I get what you guys are saying. So let's move on to Angie. So again, guys, chat. The question is for today's live. We're starting off. The whole conversation is about culture vulture. I love this background. I wish somebody would put this on a T-shirt. Conversation today is going to be about culture vultures, and we're going to talk about all the things that's happened this week. Angie, right now we are asking. Put it in the chat before y'all start arguing. Get your point across. I'm going to pin some of the best answers. Zuhar Mahmad, appreciate you, brother. Always doing your job, always helping me out. You're the greatest. When I get me some more TikTok bread, I'm gonna spread it. Y'all, listen, I'm gonna take care of a lot of y'all. Ramon, shout out to you as well, my brother. Another one of my mods, shout out my mods, Angie, Portia, and these are kind of like my mods I got going on right now. But anyway, chat. The question is, how would you describe culture vulture? And I want to let me pin some of the best answers. Ramon has a really good answer here. I'm hoping I can pin it. We maybe not. Angie, how would you describe a culture vulture?
I think for me, I think a lot about like appreciation versus appropriation, right?
Okay.
So I think specifically, box of braids versus cornrows, right? Like the Bantu knots versus whatever some white women were calling it, right? So it's like, I think it's stealing from a culture and trying to recreate it to make it your own, right? Like, oh my God, I discovered this new thing and I'm going to name it whatever whitewashed name I want to name it, right?
Angie, can I point out something real quick? I'm sorry. I know I interrupted a lot. You know what I really didn't like about the vulture name? Is I know that parasite is not as sexy, right? Culture parasite. But I kind of feel like culture parasite would almost be so much more appropriate, right? Because culture vulturing, a vulture comes in and eats off of dead carcasses, right? Our art, a lot of our art, black art all across the world, right, is not a dead thing, right? It's usually something thriving and living, and then people from outside of it, even some black people, right, will come in and leech off of it like a parasite would, you dig me, and then try to make it their own, right? Or try to call it different names to the point that you just mentioned. So I just wanted to point that out. I know we're using the word vulture, but man, I wish we could say parasite instead. But it ain't that sexy. It don't sound like culture vulture. You know
Culture
what I'm
vulture
saying?
just rhymes, you know? But
Yeah.
yeah, I think parasite is definitely like a much more clear, you know, definition of what it is. But yeah, that's what I really think. I think I always think like appreciation over appropriation, right? And I mean, we'll have conversations, right? Like I'm Caribbean, my family's Dominican, right? Like, you know, we have a lot of heavily influences from West Africa in our music, in our style, in our dance. And I would hope, right? I know we can go on about how Dominicans are wild out here, but I think there's definitely like a level of appreciation in our culture for, you know, what ended up becoming, you know, the influences that we received. And I don't always necessarily consider that appropriation. And I like to think my people always try their best to give credit where credit's due. I know the people that I hang out with that are my people do. But yeah, for me, that's just really the difference, you know? And I think, yeah, there was some good stuff in the comments as well about like what that definition looks like. But I think, yeah, like trying to recreate something that's not really yours, right? And not giving credit where credit's due. I think a lot about the Kardashians, right? Really using it for their own fame and success, and really thinking that they're out here doing something new when really, you know, Black women have been doing whatever they're doing for years now, right? The BBL trends are crazy, right? And, you know, all that stuff I think really lends to what a culture vulture is. But I really do think a lot of people have a hard time differentiating between, again, that like appreciation versus appropriation conversation.
I like that. Matt Random, Ramon just put Chinese character tattoos. Ramon, that's going to be very important when we talk about how culture vulturing is not just only about like, oh, white people coming in and taking stuff or Asian people. And to Q's point, he talked about how even he sees black people can be culture vultures. So thank you so much, Angie. I think appropriation versus appreciation is the key point that I'm taking from you. And parasites. And I think for Q, the biggest point that I'm taking from him is close enough appropriation and appreciation, but his point I think is also going to help me with understanding how vulturing, quote unquote, can be done by a number of people. So Q, his point is that a lot I'm taking from him is um, how we define culture vulture and being raised in it versus and being in it versus out being an outsider, and also how anyone can be a vulture. Angie, appropriation, appreciation. I'm gonna move on to Salida. I'm taking notes. I want to make sure we leave no stone unturned again today, guys. I love this conversation. Blue Dot, we're gonna talk about a lot of these things. So right now, guys, be very careful. We're putting a lot of your good comments on right now. I don't want to forget them. I'm missing some of them. Let's stay on topic. But right now, we'll just define it. I just want us to define culture vulture. The conversation right now in the chat should just be just about defining culture vulture. What makes you one? Who can be one? Salida, I want to get you on next. Please unmute yourself, or I'm going to unmute you. How would you define? Let me unmute you. Oh my God. How would you define a culture vulture? Salida, welcome.
Yeah, thanks. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely. Hold on one second. Hey, Ant said, I don't know how you about to turn up after talking about heavy topics. Great power comes with great responsibility. Listen, brother, rather than coming in here today and being all super serious, I was like, okay, this conversation is about to be heavy. Let me get my Henny. I'm going to use this as a pregame. I'm amongst people that I consider family anyway, right? But I'm gonna keep my sanity, and don't be worried about me. I'm gonna get up a few times, go get some more ice, go get some more Henny. I'm gonna go to my day party, and it's gonna be the perfect balance to what I'm dealing with, because that party's gonna have Afro beats, reggae, and hip hop. So I'm gonna be all right. Don't worry about me, and I'm good. Salida, thank you so much for joining. Please tell us, how would you define a culture vulture? What does that sound like to you? What is that person? Describe that.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with a lot of the comments that were said already. I think I would also add what you were talking about with the tweet, or sorry, the message there, is like if I think about some of the bigger culture vultures in my generation, P. Diddy would be one of the main ones, right? And he's a black
Really?
person taking
Diddy, hold
advantage
on.
of black
Hold on,
people.
Salita, hold on. Did you just say Diddy would be one of those?
Absolutely. He has very
Wow.
little talent and has been taking advantage of other black people's talents for a very long time, right? And so
Okay.
again, it comes back to some of the people talking about, like a Post Malone. Is Post Malone the kid who just heard something he liked and tried to experiment with music, the culture vulture? Or is it the
Mm,
UMGs and the companies that actually saw that kid and brought them to the forefront, that understand the game and know what's really going on, that used him as well, right?
mm.
And I do think some of these artists, when they get to a certain point and they realize what's going on, they do have an opportunity and sort of
Salita, I'm
the
gonna back you up a little bit because you may just made a very great point, but I don't want that point to be lost. And I promise you, I'm writing
yeah,
it
yeah.
down. I don't want you to deep dive too much
Ah,
on the execs and how they might be the real vultures. I want to bring you back. So you define culture vulturing as someone that takes advantage. Really, that's really a key point here. Taking advantage.
mhm.
Okay, taking advantage. But do you think, let me ask you a question to really make sure I don't mess your point up. Do you think if you're, let's say, born into a culture, like for example, P. Diddy is African American, he's of rap, his dad, oh no, I'm sorry, his, I know that he was a music exec. So, excuse me. I guess what I'm trying to ask you is, do you think that lineage has anything to do with what you're entitled to in the culture? It's kind of like a yes or no thing.
I think of it kind of in terms of like religion. You're a part of your parents' religion until you turn 18, and then you've got to stand on your own too and decide who you are.
Okay,
Right? So you can
but
be born into a culture and you can be raised in that culture in your home. But once you're your own adult, you choose how you live the rest of your life, right? And so if you put yourself ahead of the culture that you're coming from and you're using
mm,
people, that makes you a vulture in my mind.
okay, so for you, the definition of vulture is really more about using people, taking advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so hold that point because I'm gonna, and I think a lot of people, I wouldn't say would press you about what breed is that dog?
She's a Pomeranian poodle.
Hey, turn up. Hey, yo, this is a dog live. If you don't like dogs, get the fuck out the live.
She's loud though.
Dogs, get out the live. That's all my dog owners. Okay, thank you, Salita. Hold that thought because I really want to talk to you about Diddy. Diddy is I didn't expect to want to talk about Diddy today, but I'm so glad you brought him up. I'm gonna want to talk about that. Just like Angie said, I'm not quite sure I agree, but I think you're opening the door to something that's so fascinating and gonna want to talk about that. Ant, my brother, you're next. Hopefully Portia's not driving anymore because she's after Ant. Ant, please give us what do you think is your definition of a culture vulture?
My definition of a vulture is someone. They can be out from outside the culture. They typically are from outside the culture, but they can also be within the culture, who basically uses a culture, but and for their own benefit, they don't add nothing to it, and then they may ultimately disrespect or disregard for different aspects of the culture, right?
Hold on
So
one
like
second, Ant. Hold on one second. Devontae, you said the only real definition is Dame Dash definition. Devontae, please type up exactly what Dame Dash definition is. Please, my brother. I think that might be very important to our conversation. Type it up, Devontae, please. Chat, give Devontae a chance to type up that definition. Please, Devontae. Don't leave us now, brother.
yeah,
And I'm writing down. So you said, so I want to get you back on your point. You said a culture vulture sometimes are typically from outside of culture, but not always. And you said they take without giving anything back, right?
they take without giving back, and they also disrespect or downgrade either culture entirely or certain aspects of it in front of like outside company, right?
Leave
Like
it worse than when they came in.
not necessarily leaving it worse when they came in, but like they like disregard or like they downplay, like they disregard or downplay
As though it
the
wasn't as important when they move on to
yes,
their next endeavor.
right. Like for example, right, no one really called Post Malone a culture vulture until his comments about how about hip hop till he made those comments about hip hop, how that like, oh, hip hop doesn't have no feeling, body, blah blah blah. Right? No one was really calling. He was just like, oh, he just another white boy, right?
Yeah, we were okay with it until he said what he said.
Yeah, until he said what he said, and then it's like, oh, or
because
like
what he said was very telling of his intentions for the art. What he said was very telling that this guy didn't really care for this. He was using it again. Parasite,
exactly,
culture
or what
parasite.
like you like show like I don't want to bring up back the beef again, but like one of the driving points, Taylor made freestyle when Drake used the AI, which is disrespectful to Tupac, that allowed Kendrick to say, "Oh, look at this culture vulture." You know what I'm saying?
Yes, Zuhar, the smoke detector is back, and I'm so glad that I know this time that it's not me.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that, but yeah, it's about.
And I wouldn't change that smoke detector. On God, that would be my brand. My brand is when you hear me, you hear that smoke detector. You gotta lean into it, brother.
Yeah, I also like to bring up the fact that like when I said that like someone can be black and be a culture vulture, like for example, I was more upset not at at the Ian guy, but at Akon's manager, who's gonna go and
Hold that
publicly.
thought, Ant. No, don't do that. Don't do that, Ant, because that's the main talking point. You gotta hold that. And we're gonna actually start with Ian and Lil Mabu and Boo, his manager. So, Ant, I'm gonna come back to you. You're gonna lead the talking point on this, but do not start that conversation yet. All right, brother?
All right, but yeah,
Hold
like,
that thought. Don't forget your thought, please.
but
All
yeah,
right, let's
and also
get
like
good.
I like me up right. Like I go to a predominantly Nigerian church, right? I'm an African American, but of Guyanese descent, right? But for the majority of my life, I've been going through a predominantly Nigerian church. If I turned around and then said, you know what, my American Guyanese ass is gonna go and sell jollof that people in my Nigerian church taught me to make. I'm gonna go out and sell it. Then I'm gonna go out and sell it and then rechange it to like give it a whole different name to sell to Whitey. That would be culture vulture-ish of me, right? Because even though I am of black descent, I'm not Nigerian. I'm taking an aspect of their culture and basically trying to sell it for a profit.
I
So
get you.
that's yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that's how it can be. You can be a
Right.
vulture without being a white person. Definitely
Exactly.
understand.
Like
Hold that thought.
yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
got you.
adjacent to that culture, but
If you were to come in disparaging and taking from it, that would be a problem. I want to go to Portia to kind of get her answer. Portia, you still driving? My dear, you still driving?
I am pulled over in a parking lot. I'm trying to get right for my birthday tomorrow. But
Girl, happy birthday!
thank you.
You don't have to tell us how old you're turning.
I'm
As
not
far as
gonna
I'm
tell you.
concerned, you're 25 forever. As far as I'm
Okay.
concerned.
I
All right.
appreciate that.
But
Thanks,
thank
bro.
you so much. Happy birthday. Hey, chat, run it up, man. First of all, some of y'all, hold on. That's the Henny talking. I got to relax. Some of y'all be out here, you know what I'm saying, in the comments talking about Portia. You're under every post defending Drake. I wish some of y'all would defend Drake that way. I wish some
Thank
of
you.
y'all would have guts. Now, does Portia get a little bit out of hand? Yes. But we know her. At this point, she's a comment celebrity. Happy birthday, Portia, in the chat right now. Run it up, run it up. Brrr. Hold on one
Hey,
second. I'm
thank
gonna take a
you.
little break. Hold on, because it's getting a little serious. Let me play. I think this is one of Drake's worst songs ever.
It
I
is.
hate
Don't play
this
that.
song.
Don't play that. I hate that.
But
Happy
however,
birthday.
I feel like the genius thing about what Drake did here is when it is somebody's birthday, the song ain't that bad. And we're gonna get back to the conversation. Y'all be patient. I just want to play this happy birthday. Ratchet
Oh
Happy. I
Lord.
hate this song. I
I
think
hate
this
it
shit is
too.
terrible. It's
Oh
your
God, I hate it
birthday.
so bad. Go ahead and play my man though. Go ahead.
That shit, niggas be like, oh, you're a Drake fan. I hate the song. Can y'all hear it?
I can't hear it. I can't even hear it.
Hold on. I hate this shit.
Oh Lord.
I hate this song, but it
It's
fits for
not even
birthdays.
Ratchet. Why did he even name it Ratchet Happy
And
Birthday?
then
It's
it
not even
wasn't even.
Ratchet.
It's your birthday. Brrr. Anyway, Portia. Let's get back on track. My bad. So talk to me. What do you think? And I'm taking notes on a lot of people. Thank you so much for pulling over to get this point off, and hopefully you can get back on the road once you make your main point. What would you define as a culture vulture? Please give it to us.
Well, just piggybacking off what both Angie and Salita said, someone who appropriates but does not appreciate. So you come in and you don't pay homage to whatever culture it is. You're not a part of that culture, and then you also don't pay homage to it. And then you try to make it your own. I know Angie mentioned the Kardashians. One thing that I really despise about the Kardashians is when they started wearing braids. They were giving the like braids that we had already named, like Fulani braids. They were giving those braids new names and naming them after white women who had worn those braids. For example, I think the Fulani braids, they were calling them Bo Derek braids or something like that after some white woman in the 70s that wore them. So to me, that is an extreme version of being a culture vulture. And a lot of people gave them a pass on that. Black women weren't, but a lot of people in our culture were trying to like take up for them and defend them. And then also what Salita was saying, I don't necessarily agree with the Diddy part, but with the exec part, I do see how executives that are not a part of the culture can be culture vultures. Piggybacking off what you said, your video from earlier about Nicki Minaj and there
Mm-hmm.
not being anybody to replace Nicki Minaj. The
Mm-hmm.
reason for that, in my opinion, is because these culture vulture execs came in and they found a way to make a Build-A-Bear version of Nicki Minaj, and they said this is
Mm-hmm.
what female rap needs, and then they oversaturated the industry with these Build-A-Bears, and now they're trying to figure out why the Build-A-Bears aren't successful. Well, it's because that they weren't authentic when they came in, and they also don't have, you know, some of them, a lot of them don't have the talent that Nicki also has. So
Mm-hmm.
they made this package, and it was like BBL, you know, talk about your
And these are
coochie.
you're talking about the white executives that are
Yes,
utilizing black people to to get their agendas off. I do want to back you up a little bit to make sure I have your definition. And these are a lot of great talking points. And hopefully, when you get back on the road, I can tap you back in. I want to back you up and really understand that for you, you're saying culture vulture people that take from the art, try to redefine it as their own. Right? That's like a very key point you're saying here. I do want
yeah.
to say, as a Nigerian person, that I'm not Fulani. That's not my tribe, right? But they're a tribe in Nigeria. They're a tribe in other countries in Africa as well. But they're mainly known to be in Nigeria and places like Niger. You got to see how much I cringe when I see people taking the Fulani braids. Like you got to understand, like for someone that knows what that is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to see the Kardashians do that, that should, like I don't know what to say. So for you though, I want to make sure that I understand that your point is taken, redefining, trying to make it your own without giving credit, and also you connected it to white executives who want to release from it, and even are using black bodies to do it.
They want to monetize
Mm-hmm.
from the culture, and so they basically redefined what they think female hip hop or
Rap
female
is
rap
should
should
be
look like. Yeah, and so
interesting.
they oversaturated the industry with a bunch of, you know, BBL women with long weaves and colorful wigs that talk about their vajayjays, and that's all
Mm-hmm.
they talk about, you know, or talk about scamming men, and that's all they talk about. And
Okay.
so, you know,
Mm-hmm.
now we're dealing with the fact that there's nobody that can really come behind Nicki, except with the exception of maybe Doja Cat, can come behind Nicki that's actually talented and can hold their own and evolve over time, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think it's great points. Okay, good, good. Thank you so much, guys. Man, y'all are so like I did this 2 lives ago. I got emotional. You guys are so introspective. You guys are so great. Thank you so much for joining my show. Y'all are so great. The insight, and I know that we're all fans of people. We're all, we all have biases. We get Answer to Stanley talking F you, Ant. And that's why you can't be emotional with men. But you guys are bringing in so much insight, and I want to make sure that nothing gets lost. Thank you so much, Portia. I do want to talk. I'm going to connect back to women rappers, and I'm going to talk about how people are saying that there was no rap before Nicki. I want to talk about that a little bit and connect it to culture vulture. And that's going to be part of what we talk about today, right? And then I want to connect it to the Missy Elliott's of the day. So I'm going to back things up a little bit, guys. I'm going to mute everybody. So let's kind of get it structured, guys. Go ahead and like the live. Go ahead and like the live. Go ahead and run the comments up. And the next phase I want to move on to is how culture vultures infiltrate cultures, and guys, whether or not they intend to, right? That's a very big part that I think we miss a lot. And I think that Ant, and that's why I'm gonna open the mic up to Ant. I'm gonna let everybody go except Ant for now, and you guys can re-add yourself. I want to have a one-on-one conversation with Ant really quickly. And if you don't re-add yourself, I'm gonna add you by my damn self, okay? But I just want to take the clutter away a little bit. And chat, if you want to add yourself, please request. But right now, I want to kind of have Ant lead us into the next phase of our conversation. And chat, um, I could answer some questions before I get to Ant. Somebody asked, is not Nav a culture vulture? We're going to talk about that from what I know, other than the fact that Nav sometimes uses the N word. I'm not really a fan, right? We'll talk about that some more, but I don't think Nav is a culture vulture. But I really want to talk to Ant specifically because he brought up Ian's manager, Boo. So if you don't know who Ian is, I decided not to talk about Ian on my main page. I refuse to. I will not. But for the sake of this live, I will talk about Ant. I will talk about Ant. I'm sorry, I will talk about Ian. And the reason I want to talk about Ian is because we talk a lot about culture vultures and who can come in and why they can be where they are, but we don't talk about the people that are of the culture that can enable them, right? So in this Ian case, guys, if you don't know who Ian is, go ahead and Google it real quick. Ian Chidi, we're going to talk about what he sounds like. So let's get to the bottom line of Ian and Tyler, the Creator. So let me lay it out for you. I don't want to assume everybody here knows what happened with Ian, who he is, and Tyler, the Creator. So let me explain for the chat, for anybody who doesn't know what's happening. Ian is a white boy who raps, who I don't give a damn for, I don't care about, doesn't do anything for me. And he raps in a way that, Chida, you're right. I don't think it sounds exactly like Gucci or Future, but in a way that Tyler, the Creator, describes as, which is he sounds like some Southern rapper. Now, I do know he went to school at Clemson University. I know he's probably somewhere. Actually, let me find out where Ian is from. Let me find out where Ian is from, guys. If you know, tell me. He raps like a Southern rapper. But he's from, and fair enough, he's from Texas. Okay. And he got a song with Lil Yachty, and that's another person I want to talk about. And he just sounds like some kind of hood Atlanta dude. Azul, I don't know if he grew up in St. Louis. I'm sorry. You're right. He's 19 years old, born in St. Louis, Missouri, grew up in Texas, and goes to school in Clemson. Clemson is in North Carolina, right, guys? Or South Carolina? Where's Clemson? Oh, Clemson is in South Carolina. That's why I love having my laptop. So Tyler, the Creator, says that he can't understand how a guy like Ian versus a Mac Miller versus Eminem can come in, and he feels like Ian is, in his music, cosplaying these Southern rappers while being dressed up in preppy boy outfits, more preppy than what the hell I got going on. So that's the premise for Ian. What Ant is going to talk about right now is how when Tyler, the Creator, talked about this, the first person to come defend Ian was Boo, his manager. Boo is Akon's brother, and he's an industry exec. And that's going to lead back to what Portia and Salida was talking about. So I'm actually going to send an invite to Salida to bring you back up. That's why I took everybody off, because I want to make sure the conversation is on point. So I'm going to unmute Ant first, and hopefully Ant can talk a lot more about Ian. He can talk a lot more about Boo. And I want the conversation to be about, do the people of the culture have a responsibility to gatekeep? And can these people, who we may see as culture vultures later, be successful if people don't betray the culture. Does that make sense to y'all, chat? And talk to me. Does that make sense to y'all, chat? Talk to me. Talk about
Uh,
the allies.
I ain't gonna hold you, B. I don't really know Ian's music like that. Like I listened to like a bit of a song on Twitter today, but my thing was that like my thing was that I was more so angry at Akon's manager because
Akon's brother. Akon's brother.
Akon's brother and Ian's manager, because how are you as a black man going to come and chastise another black man who feels that his culture or a subsection of his culture is being mocked for your bag like
So
that?
you have a problem with how Boo jumped out the gate.
Yeah, like you gonna jump out the gate and disrespect Tyler by calling him an old head just because he made an observation, like instead of offering some form of like this.
Observation that, in my opinion, is accurate, and it's
Exactly.
accurate to me. I'm
Exactly.
sorry.
And then it's like it just put me in like in a mind frame of like when Iggy Azalea was coming up, and like people were just letting it rock. People were just letting it rock because she was Ti. She was
Hold
under
on, and hold
Ti's.
on one second, guys. Hold on, guys. We about to hit 5K on likes on a live. Now I care about numbers a little bit. Please like that up. We just hit 5K. Please like it up. Let's try to get to 6K. I love that. I love that. I didn't even think there's gonna be that type of live. 5,000 likes is crazy. Let's keep having people randomly come in here and see what they talking about. This is our room, but let's have people come in and see what we're talking about. But and
Like
please go ahead
for
as
example,
you talk about Boo.
like yeah, right. Like for example, I remember when Iggy Azalea was coming up and everybody was mad, like, oh, she doing minstrelsy, she doing this, and like two. I was about to say 2 Chainz. Q-Tip had literally, broke down the history of minstrelsy and why her taking on this different accent in her music is offensive and completely disrespectful. He didn't call out her name, and then not only did she play the white damsel, but here comes Ti defending his investment basically, and that's what Boo is doing.
Hold
You
on one
defend
second. Hold on one second, Am. So now this is gonna be our next topic: protecting culture versus income. And I think this is where Salida is gonna lead us to. But please go ahead, brother. I just want to talk about protecting the culture versus capitalism. That's gonna be our next point. But please keep going
and
because
it's like
that's
we
gonna be
all
our next
and
point.
it's like yo like it's the same play. Like, it's no one is saying that white people can't be in hip hop. There are tons of white people in hip hop that have never been called culture vultures because they showed the necessary respect. Yeah, they made their money. But they showed the culture and the necessary respect and due diligence. No one ever calls Mac
Mm-hmm.
Miller a culture vulture. No one ever calls
Mm-hmm.
Alchemist a culture vulture. No one ever calls Aesop Rock and Brother Ali culture vultures. No one ever
Mm-hmm.
called Mike Dean been working with Scarface since the early '90s in hip
Mm-hmm.
hop. No one ever called Mike Dean a culture vulture.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
when
you know
it's
what's funny? You know what's funny, Am? No one ever calls Paul Wall a culture vulture. And
exactly.
these are people that rap kind of like how Ian is rapping, but it almost seems like there's a nuance. Like we understand, like he really grew up in it. There are things that you show. And I want to really deep dive before I move on to Salida and Q. And I, you know, and this really answers my question. Being of the culture is not always about race, right? Is if you're not born into, like, if you're not a black man, right, from the deep south, like Paul Wall, right? It's almost like we can tell, like, I don't know how to explain it. A black man from Nigerian heritage living in the Northeast can tell that Paul Wall is more Southern than me. You
Exactly.
understand what I'm saying? And I can study Paul Wall for months on out with each record, with each interview, and go, oh, you're not cosplaying. This is really you. You were around a bunch of black people. You grew up in the deep south. You don't try to say the N word or nothing like that. You just specifically talk about where you from in Texas and Houston with these grills. And we can tell, like someone says, I accidentally love Paul Wall. It ain't no accident. We can tell. And it sounds like what you're saying is why what Boo is saying is insulting, right? Zuha,
Exactly.
who's Paul Wall is crazy. Go Google Paul Wall, Zuha. You're pissing me off. I'm finna take your mod card back. You're pissing me off. You're pissing me off, Zuhal.
Exactly, and it's like, yo, like it comes to a point in time like, yo, you're playing in our face, right? Because Ian was just because it's not just like because Gucci and Future have been some of the most popular rappers of the last decade. So it wouldn't surprise me if somebody else would think like there's an Indian dude who's right now got a popping song because he's influenced.
Hanuman
Yes,
Khan. He grew up in Memphis and then went back to India.
yes, he's literally
We can
because he
tell. We can
exactly.
tell. There's a reason why he mentions Project Pack in the song. It's not like black people are stupid. We can tell the difference between him and Post Malone. We can just tell inherently. It's like a conscious thing.
Exactly, like you're like it's you're playing in my face, like, and then that's where we get in because like, okay, we see the setup like you putting him in these like quirky preppy clothes, but then you think like you're trying to basically this is a gimmick, this is the
And
gimmick.
even if and the thing though, and
Paul Wall wearing grills and rapping about Escalades and what that's not a gimmick, that's his life.
because
But
we
see,
can tell he grew up in that. We can tell. Eventually, and if we can't tell, eventually you're gonna snitch on yourself. So I think what you're saying with the Ian thing is he's wearing these preppy clothes because Boo and them know one is good marketing, but they know that's what's natural to him. They know that he can't really do much else. You understand what I'm saying, right? So now it's like, okay, Boo, we know y'all did that, but don't play in our face. Don't then try to insult Tyler the Creator, call him a hoehead. And this speaks to can culture vultures succeed without black execs specifically and black middlemen enabling them? And I'm going to put you on mute for a second. I'm going to move that conversation to Salida because Salida was the one that brought up Diddy, but she brought up black execs, and she's bringing up a good point, guys. Let's sit here with an open mind. Let's try to listen to what Salida is saying because although I didn't fully agree, she made a very great point that we have to take I don't want to say responsibility and accountability because that's not fair. And I think Q can speak much to this. And if you want to add on, so guys, please request yourself as a viewer. Please request yourself as a guest. But Salida speaks to what responsibility execs have. So Salida, to that, I want to unmute you and ask you a question. Are you saying these culture vultures could not succeed without these black middlemen or people of the cultures that we're talking about, whether it's rap, Afro beats, enabling them? And speaking to Akon's brother Boo, how he's enabling Ian right now.
Yeah, no, I think that's exactly what I'm trying to say. I mean, if you even look at the history of black music in America, what's true in the 1950s and true in the 1970s, the 90s, the 2010s is that all of those artists don't have any money anymore. Like they've never come away with a legacy that, say, for example, and I mean, I know some of your posts talk to this as well. You look at what's happening with UMG and passing the torch from Elliot Crange to his son, right? Or sorry, from Lucian to his son. You don't see that in black families. You don't see, there's nobody from the 50s who has, you're starting to see the 50 Cents and the Tyler Perrys and the Jay-Z's amass that type of legacy wealth that now, but it's taken a very, very long time to get there. So I do have a bit of grace for them on the side of, I know where they're coming from, right? And I know some of the battles they've had to fight to get there, right? Yeah, exactly. It's that whole you fight for the seat at the table. But once you're at the table,
hold on, Salida, 1 point. Please hold your point. Track the Kid, if you just joined us, I hope the background makes sense. We're talking about culture vultures. Today's episode is going to be about culture vultures, but we're connecting it to current events. We're connecting it to Ian. We're connecting it to even. I'm going to connect it to Nicki Minaj a little bit. There isn't much that happened this week that didn't revolve around culture vultures and Drake and Tyler the Creator. I'm not really here to talk about, can you wear shorts to an interview? That's a waste of my time. I have to find a way to connect that. But we're talking about Post Malone, who just dropped an album. He's someone that I think I've pegged as a culture vulture. And so for this episode, I didn't want to come up with 12 different things. I think just the culture vulture conversation was enough to cover a lot of what happened this week in pop culture. If you want to connect it to other things, totally fine with me. I'm sure by the end of today's episode, I will find a way to connect it to almost every major thing that's happened this week. So, Lita, I want to go back to you because you were talking about And I want to ask you a question, if you don't mind. Let me present it back to you. Let me kind of play a little tennis. So you brought up Lucian and Ellie and Grange, right? And
Yeah.
I wouldn't call them the culture vultures. I would call them, and this is for lack of better words, please, guys, don't ding me. I would call them, I hate that I don't have better words, plantation overseers. They
Okay.
are at the top of the totem pole of who reaps the most benefit, not only from rap music, guys, but from a lot of other black art. There are a lot of Afrobeats artists signed to Universal, believe it or not. They have international points. But what me and Salito are talking about right now, and hopefully when I get to Q, we can talk about these overseers, is it sounds like Salito is saying, like, okay, these artists that we're calling culture vultures, they're at base level. And they're at base level because they're being enabled by people like who Ant talked about, Boo, Akon's brother, who's like an A&R, an exec, low level, mid level exec, who is propping up the Ians of the world while bashing the Tyler's of the world for calling it out, but to make the overseers money, right, Salita?
Exactly.
And
And I mean,
and then
even if
and
you
then
look at,
and then hold on one second. I'm sorry. And then
yeah,
we're also connecting that to how these mid-level guys think they have to do this to become the Elliot Grange and the Lucian Grange.
yeah, and I think the other thing with Elliot Grange that I wanted to call out is he's married to Lionel Richie's daughter. Like, so
Wow.
you're talking about somebody that not only has a huge perspective on the music industry from his father, but he's
Hmm.
married to a legacy artist
Hmm.
child. So if he doesn't have any respect for the culture so much that he would give somebody like 6ix9ine a chance at his label,
Hmm.
why would we expect him to not promote somebody like an Ian or someone like that? And as long as
Hmm.
those types of people, whether they're white or black or anybody else, are
Hmm.
making the calls, we're just fighting the fight. We're fighting the fight at the ground level, but we're never going to see any real change because the people calling the shots, most of us didn't even know these names until a year ago.
Okay. So I like what you're pointing out now because again, I think the quote unquote overseers, and guys, I'm not insulting, any, like, I want to make sure that you understand that I'm using overseers as a cliche term. These guys cannot infiltrate and reap money off of black bodies and black art without black middlemen enabling these artists, and they don't care what race they are, and whether or not they appreciate the culture. And I think, Salita, this is a great point. And I think a lot of us, I want to actually correct myself because at first I said to you, Salita, that I did not understand your um, implication of Diddy here. And I'll tell you why that is. Because for me, as negative as I see a lot of what Diddy has done in life, I have to look at Diddy, although he's trying to make some more money, I have to look at Diddy as someone that brought us Little Kim, that brought us Biggie, Mace, right? So
Mm-hmm.
enabling more black people to be creative. But to your point, people like Diddy and their quest to get up there,
They
right?
made different moves.
They made moves that sometimes are not great for the low level of the cultures that makes the people up here money. So when we talk about Takashi 69, and I'm going to write Takashi's name here so I don't forget. Someone mentioned Central C. I don't know if you want to come on Zuhar to get a British perspective. So this is very interesting. But Takashi 69, and I think Q would be able to speak to this. I want to move on to him now. I think Takashi, for all the talk about Drake in the last 5 years, I'm so offended that we've got the balls and audacity to talk about, well, what is Drake? Drake did this, but I said this 2 lives ago. When Takashi 69 was able to come into this art form, and I'm getting fucking upset, and come into this art form looking like how he looked, acting like how he liked, and y'all shouldn't lie to me. And and we ate it up. And Shotty, a New York guy, I'm not going to talk about how much I know him or what I know about non-trades. I'm not here to do that. I try not to talk about what I know about from up here with you guys. But I know what kind of money is being passed around in those gang sets and people trying to go official. But when Shotty co-signs, I'm not saying that Shotty is Diddy, Salita, but Salita makes a good point. You know, Elliot Grange can't make money off Takashi 6ix9ine if Shotty doesn't give Takashi 6ix9ine a cosign. Quadia, I'm gonna unmute you. And I think this is the point now from Ann to Salida to Q that I'm starting to understand. It's starting to seem like there's levels, guys. There's the vulture themselves, who is not of the culture, just here to reap, just wants to make music and do something, make something out of themselves, and may not intentionally mean to disrespect. Yes, and Blue Dot, I'm gonna invite you because you've been making some good points. Please get your ass up here. Get your ass up here because you're right. And it seems as though, you know, hip hop has been for sale. Blue Dot, please invite yourself to come on, please. Thank you. I can't find you. But what the sale can't happen if the Ians, the Takashi 6ix9ines can't function by themselves because most likely the audience is going to reject them. But when that middleman comes in, used to be Diddy, used to be Shotty, and is co-signing that vulture, it may work, and then now the overseer gets paid. Q, talk to me.
So I'm a younger guy. I'm 21, so like I'm kind of like in that age range with people like Ian and stuff. And like when I first heard his music, of course I did think he was black because he has his voice patterns like a little deeper. I was not expecting him to be full on Caucasian, but this is like a Tom Brady this is like a Tom Brady far ass throw I'm trying to throw because like it's in my mind because like I feel like this he has to do something to cost me like in my mind like him like not being on the side of culture vulture. Like he's gonna have to do something in the future like with what Post Malone did when he talked about black culture and how not black culture but how hip hop music isn't as deep. Like that was something I was like, I see why you were here. You just wanted to get an easy lick in, and as soon as you got your lick, you just pumed off. So when it comes to Ian, because I did a little research. Because me personally, I'm not about being right. I'm just about the information being right. So
Getting it right. You don't want to be right. You want to get it right.
exactly. So I looked into him, his the album that he has with the Notorious, him like preppy white boy golf course fit, and I listened to it, and one of the main producers on it, well, I won't say producer, one of the main people on it is DJ Holiday, notorious like trap sounding producer, and he's one of the guys that tapped into that sound, that future Chief Keef back then type sound. So like the first thing I see Ian do, okay, he comes in and he breaks bread with one of the previous producers that was a part of one of the big culture waves at the time. I'm like, okay, that's showing love. I can respect that. So, but I'm like, let me deep dive a little bit more. I listen to the music. I'm not really hearing nothing that gives me like, oh, he's talking about like heavy ball future like trapping, like a future or Gucci Man would. Like the way he sounds might give that, but if you listen to the lyric, because like I'm not just a guy that's just gonna break down Kendrick Lamar lyrics or any of those guys that are super lyrical lyrics. I'm gonna break down everybody's lyrics. So when I'm hearing him speak, I'm like, he's not saying nothing like he's not mentioning no guns. He's not really talking like nothing crazy. He might talk about getting to like a fight, but you know, everybody fights. So like I can see that. But like I'm not hearing or seeing nothing like too like that's giving me Post Malone vibes or like vibes of like people that are like coming into the culture just to nibble on what was popping right now. Then when they get that big boost, they can finally go into what they really want to get into.
Well, I would say this though, Q. I think I understand what you're trying to say, but we got to be careful, brother, because there's some things we can't judge directly. Nuance, mannerisms, right?
That's true.
Like a lot of what like, and I'm not saying that Ian can't rap like this, right? But like when he's go like, she like Ian, what you made this month? I'm like, babe, let me give you an estimate. Like it's you can hear it in his accent, right? You can hear it in what he's like, how he's talking. But I do see your point. Um, but the reason I brought up Paul Wall, right? And I'm not saying Q that Ian couldn't rap with a deep Southern AAV
Like,
slang
I ain't
and
gonna lie,
not
like
dress.
I've heard him talk, like, cause I say, you know
That's
what?
the
'Cause
thing. But when he talks, does he sound like that?
it's kinda like it's like he goes in and out of it. It's like one of them people, like, I can tell you wasn't really raised into that, but like maybe going into your teenage years, you went to a public school, dealt with some blacker kids, maybe fit in with them people, and like not people with that group, and like you kind of like that kind of rubbed off on you. Like I can see, like, in a sense where it comes from, but like it's not fully you. And I can see even like the way he dressed and like the way he really put that shit on, excuse my French, but the way he dressed, like he don't give me like, oh, I'm trying to dress black.
Well, I
Bro.
would say this. I would say this. I want to back up on Ian a little bit because the verdict is still out on him. I think that what I really didn't like about the Ian situation was Boo coming out, and Boo was a little, he's doing a much. But I want to go
Nah,
back to
totally
somebody we
understand.
all know. I want to go to two people, Lil Mabu and
Yes.
Takashi 69. Um, Somebody in the chat said that if Takashi 69 didn't snitch, then go, because you gotta understand, Takashi did all this gang shit. Part of my French. Then was like, I'm snitching. I'm not really about that life. These guys try to do whatever to my girl, blah blah blah. I'm not about that, whatever, right? Like from a normal human being perspective, whatever, right? Zua, I don't think we have to talk about redemption for Ian because he's not that point yet. The boy's career ain't even start. But so I want to focus on, and that's the thing. I don't want us to get distracted. So move Ian out the way. Let's talk about Takashi 69 and let's talk about Lil Mabu. Lil Mabu is making, and this is what Salita's point makes sense, where Fabio Foreign is not a quote unquote necessarily middleman as an executive, but from a from a helping Lil Mabu perspective, he would be playing the middleman here and not just being a guest artist. He got a song about how to drill. How to drill. You know that song, right, Q?
Yeah. I've actually, like, before like the culture vulture stuff really popped off, I saw Lil Mabu and like his and what he was doing, and I'm like, that's not right. Like I
Yeah,
automatically saw that and
that's
saw like
damn near
that's not right.
satire.
Yeah,
Moody, teach me how to drill is damn near satire. So
literally.
let's use Lil Mabu and Takashi 69. Guys, if Takashi 69 doesn't come out and say, oh, that's snitching stuff, that's not. And by the way, if you're a civilian, if you're a regular civilian, I don't want to have conversation about snitching or not snitching. But let's keep it a bean, guys. You rapped all that, niggas empty arm, Blicky got the sticky arm. You did all that, right? Again, this is culture vulturing. You did all that, right? And then jumped in the spot, got caught up, talked down on what you was associated with, then went on and started making Puerto Rican music or DR me or whatever, reggaeton type joints, right? Lil Mabu, okay, forget Ian for a second. I know for a fact Lil Mabu or whatever is from
Oh yeah,
is
nah, for
a
sure,
trust fund kid.
for
And
sure. Yeah,
you making songs talking about how to drill.
yeah. Like
And that's
there's videos
exactly
of
what we're
him.
talking about. And Lil Mabu can't get nowhere if Fabio doesn't help him. And Lil Mabu is signed to, I want to find out where he's signed to. I think he's Columbia as well. But this speaks to Salita's point. Columbia can't make money off Lil Mabu if Fabio Foreign is not co-signing them. And Lil Mabu can culture vulture, if things aren't happening. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like this weird cycle now. And also to ding us if we don't talk about these people. But it's a catch-22. How are we going to get rid of, not necessarily get rid of these people, but how are we going to get people to understand what's going on if we don't talk about these people? Now we screwed. Now we stuck. Now we stuck in an infinite loop, to say the least. You dig what I'm saying, Q?
I will say I think I have like a solution to this problem, this culture vulture problem. The thing is that I've seen with all these culture vultures that come out, they make their trending song that everyone's like reacting to, no matter if it's a good reaction or a bad reaction. Either way, the reaction is paying this person's bills. So, because I remember when he first came out and he was with the I forgot the dude's name, but he's also a Crip from New York and he sound like Pop Smoke. He got the Deep Voice gig. So, and
You
that was
talking
like his
about
first song.
no, you talking about who?
Dusty
Yeah,
Lopez.
Dusty
Dusty
Lopez.
Lopez, Dusty Lopez,
Yeah, I
Dusty
remember
Lopez.
when he first came out with Dusty, and I was like, this don't give me right vibes. Like, it's like I'm looking at you, you're not giving Cause like he was already on like 10. Like Ian don't give me like I'm about to drill something.
But he's rapping. Oh, well, not him.
But
Mabu's
Lil
rapping
Mabu
about it.
literally said, "I can never snitch. That's on my kid. This kid's a child.
You're
You got no
lying,
kid."
Lil Mabu.
Like
You're
like
lying.
that's
If you ended up in Tekashi's situation, you would do the same thing.
yeah. Like,
Yeah,
and that's why I think I think Ian is getting the treatment that Lil Mabu is getting, but the reason Lil Mabu's not getting it is because he did all the trolling stuff, he did all the controversial stuff, and then he tried to drop a project, and the project flopped. So it's like, okay,
So nobody sees him as a threat.
yeah, like you,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
okay, you got all the views, but your project flopped. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I think now that we like, okay, well he got himself out of here because he wasn't gonna make it either way.
He's not a threat.
So now that
Okay,
we
what I
see,
do want to say, I want to move on because hold on one second, Quad Q, because Moody said he has something to say about Lil Mabu. But Q, you got a great point. I think it's
Yeah,
very damning because Tyler the Creator brought up this conversation about Ian, but god damn it, how are we letting Lil Mabu slide? So Moody, please talk about Lil Mabu a little bit. Moody,
yeah.
please.
I think you said it and you drifted off it. You said that Teach Me How to Drill was satire. And I think everyone looks at it that way. No one actually takes him serious because even in the song he had a bar. He said, "Can I do a hit on a scooter?" Come on. Everyone knows it wasn't serious.
Cannot do
Everyone knows it
that.
was just joking. Can I do a hit on a scooter? No one will take you serious. No one. I think there was even a part in the video. His dad
So
appeared.
it's just speaking to what Q said. He almost bodied himself by overdoing it.
Yes, so no one takes him serious, no one takes him as a threat. Now it's different from Tekashi coming out and say, "Oh, if I catch you here, I'm gonna do this. I have people, we roll," and at the end of the day,
Standing
you
next to
see
him, Moody. They standing next to him. Those non-trade
exactly,
guys were standing next to him.
exactly. So I think those two are completely different contexts. Those two, because Lil Mabu is not a threat. Come on. Everyone just
But Moody, but
most
let me
times
ask
when
you
he
a
opens
question.
his mouth, I
Even
laugh.
though Moody, let me ask you a question. Even though it's not a threat and I can see through it in the satire, Lil Mabu was one hit away from that not being satire, from being taken seriously.
that's true.
And he was, you understand? Like Q just said, he bodied himself. He killed him. You know, you get what I'm saying, Moody? Like, so
Yeah.
that's why now it's like, that's a joke. I'm looking at his picture right now. I'm like, you a joke. But he's one hit away. White Iverson is the reason why Post Malone can do what Post Malone is doing. And yet Post Malone may not have the same intentions as, Takashi or Lil Mabu, but White Iverson worked. And if Lil Mabu teach you how to drill work, if it got to, white America, if it got to, Lil Mabu is now a representation of drilling. We got lucky. We can't say, okay, he said, you get what I'm saying, Moody? I'm not saying that you're not right, that little things like that, we didn't catch him slipping. But imagine if we didn't catch that and it worked. It wouldn't be satire no more. And to what Salita is saying, and thank you for the roast, Salita, it's like, that's not a joke to people that's actually out there doing that. And not that we approve of that, but that's a problem, Moody. Because
True.
what if it had made it? And to Salita saying, what about the pink example? I think that's the problem with culture vultures. What if it makes it? What if it passed that level? What if it works? And I think that's the disconnect here is because at first, if a Lil Mabu or Ian comes out rapping, we laughing. We kick in. But then Boo, Fabio Foreign, and somebody like, not Diddy didn't do it, but let's just throw Diddy in there. It's like, okay, come in. And they put their arm around him. And then Elliot Grain says, okay, here's some more money. And then it recycles back down, not to us, to the rest of corporate America. It works. And then now, Lil Mabu and Post Malone, that's the face of rapping. That's the face of us. And it works.
But I will say, I have a white boy lookout. There is one signed to Gucci Mane. He got the accent, he got the chain, he got the glasses. I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but like he did a song.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah. But like he's in that scene. I forgot what's his name, but like I say it's a lookout because like he give me more Lil Mabu than Ian. With Ian, I'm like, okay, he just making music and it just
Bresden is his name. Bresden.
He got a
Yeah,
song
yeah.
called White Ferrari. I'm gonna pull up the song right now.
I'm saying, so I saw that. I'm like, my I got like a little radar that go off. Like with Lil Mabu, my thing was going off. With him, it's slightly going off. It's a slight detection. It's a bleep on my radar. Not a heavy bleep, but a definitely bleep. You know what I'm saying? But Ian,
I can't remember the
he just
song Lil
white.
Mabu did recently
Go
where
ahead, Willie. Go ahead.
he said, thank God they left him out of the double XL freshman class that it will have shut up the school. Honestly, when I heard it, I just started laughing because he's not shooting on it. Lil Mabu is
Yeah,
just
and I'm
come
looking
on.
at the Bresden video now, and I think I get what Q is trying to say. Like this is like he looks like a nerdy kid, but is actually just has a bunch of other white people around his video, and not. He got trailer park stuff in here.
Yeah.
He just happens to be sung by Gucci. Let me get some new perspective in here, y'all. Hold on for a second. Tammy, what's up, man? You got my sister's name. Talk to me.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on? It's always so funny. Nigerians name their sons Tammy. It's so fascinating. I'm
Yeah,
fascinated by
yeah. A
that.
lot of our names, especially Yoruba names, are very unisex.
Yes, sir.
No,
Yes, sir.
yeah. No, I'm digging this conversation. I think I came in when you guys were talking about Ian. Yeah, I think my issue with, I guess, with Ian is just like, I think that he does generally do like hip hop. I don't think he's necessarily. I don't want to quote it. I don't want to name him a culture vulture
Speak for
just
him.
yet.
Okay.
But I mean, it's kind of leaning towards that, just because, like, I do agree that he does like rap like a lot of Atlanta rappers, like Gucci.
He's got certain cadences. He's
Yeah, he
got
has a
certain.
cadence to it. And Q was, and I was listening to Q, and he said that he made a point that, like, Ian doesn't really like rap about like stereotypical trap type music and what they rap about. But like you just said, it's more of like the cadence and the flow. That it's like, okay, we look at him, it's like, okay, oh look, I rap like this, but I look like this. Like with his album cover, he looked like a preppy
A
frat boy that
preppy
went that,
boy at a
yeah
frat
that,
from
that that
Clemson,
yeah that goes
and
to Yale
that's
or
and I
something.
think is what Tyler. I think that's what Tyler was trying
Yes,
to
and I
point
think
out.
that's what people are mistaking what Tyler's saying. Like, he's just like, okay, it's clear, like, you were just like a suburban white kid, but then now you're rapping like a Atlanta trap artist. You may not be saying or rapping about the certain things, but like your flow and your cadence is that of a Atlanta trap
Tammy, can
artist.
I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
Because I know what the answer is for me.
Yeah.
Do you have to look like what you rap like?
Could you elaborate?
Do you have to look like what you rap like, in the sense that what Tyler the Creator is saying, and I think this is why I have to disagree with Q, is
Mm,
Tyler the Creator is saying it's a feel. Like, I know, like, and this is where people, I think Ant said this, where people gonna try to gaslight Tyler the Creator and gaslight me.
mm,
Like, no offense to not just you, Timmy, but everybody else. I know what an Atlanta nigga that sound like rap like that look like. And
yeah.
I know it's very stereotypical, right? So what Tyler the Creator is saying, and why I'm disagreeing with Q a little bit, is like, when Ian is dressed like that and played rugby at Clemson
Right.
and got those mannerisms, I know it sounds ignorant to like someone at CNN, they wouldn't understand it. But it's like, Ian, bro,
Yeah, and that's
somebody
the
that rap like that don't look like that. And
yeah.
it's not even a race thing at this point.
No, no,
Take
no.
the race out. Take the race out. Take the race out. Paul Wall rap like that, and usually rapping like that looks like that.
Yeah, but he's but he's
All
but
on
he's
the
from that culture though. Paul was from there.
No,
You
but
know
that's
what
what
I'm
we're
saying?
saying. That's what we're
Yeah,
saying. So I'm gonna unmute Q though, and I'm gonna let you
yeah,
finish your point, Timmy. But
yeah.
that's the thing. It's like we sound. See, the thing, Timmy, is, all right, I'm gonna give you an example. Take race out of it. Let's use me.
Right,
Like, if you look at me, right, I've told you guys I'm of Nigerian heritage.
right.
I've told you guys my background, like my mom is what, like, but if you look at me and you see these mannerisms, and I sound a little bit, I don't sound like too much like a New York nigga, but
Mm,
you know, like, sometimes I like, even if this is low key preppy, but the way I open my joint up, you can
yeah,
tell, like,
oh, that's some. Oh, he probably from Jersey, Connecticut. You can tell.
Yeah, you
So
can
if I
tell.
started rapping like, yeah, look, what's up? But like, you can tell, like, okay, he probably not from Brooklyn, not, but you can, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I feel like people gaslight us because, like Sharita's saying, there's a certain nuance to it that only we know.
Mm-hmm.
As in the categories, African American people understand it, Nigerian people or Caribbean people that or African people that live in America understand it, Black people outside of the United States understand it, and it's like we know. I don't know how to explain it. In our spirit. So like
Mm-hmm.
even someone like me that's not quote unquote like African American, you could tell like I grew up in the Northeast. You can tell
Yeah.
I'm a Jersey nigga. Like you can tell.
Yeah.
So if I came out and I started sounding like a Boogie and I started sounding like Joe Button,
Right.
you would know. You could tell like, oh, okay, yeah. But within, when I see that picture, when I see a Clemson rugby picture, it's like,
Yeah.
uh,
You're not really part of it, and it like it's
yeah,
like just like what Ann just said right now. It's like we know when someone is trying to play in our face, and it's like
yeah, like,
it is
and
like
it's weird. I'm gonna let Q talk though, Timmy, but
yeah, of course, of
it's
course,
hard to explain. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, cause I know I sound insane to a white person, right?
yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
And
Like, but
can I,
like,
if
there's
I
a,
could just
yeah,
say,
go ahead, go ahead, go
say
ahead,
this
go ahead.
one thing, and then like Q, my bad, Q, you can go ahead. But I feel like we just got to do a better job with like I just kind of like just gatekeeping this joint, like especially and making sure we have the right people who have the culture, the Black American culture in their right mind. Like, and I kind of take this to like Little Yachty, right? Like last year, Lil Yachty, he tweeted how like, hip hop is in a bad place and how there's no like real like good quality
And then
music.
turned around and
And
did
then
this.
and then, and then you co-sign this dude, present day. So it's just like there's too much hypocrisy and too much contradicting going on. Like we just got to do a better job with like just like gatekeeping,
Alex, my
with
bad.
these things.
Alex said
But
I sound like Button. You know why I sound like Button? Because Button is not from New York. Button grew up in Jersey City. Guess where the fuck I'm from?
I'm
Guess
gonna
where the
mute.
fuck I'm from?
I'm gonna mute myself
Okay,
now.
I gotta jump in. I gotta jump in.
Yeah, hold on, Salita. I'm good. You can go ahead, Salita. Oh, you saying Timmy? Oh, hold on. Timmy sound like Button. Timmy, where you from? If you don't mind, you don't have to tell
Oh,
us
I
the
sound like
exact
Button
city.
for real? Nah, I'm from LA, bro.
You from Atlanta?
LA.
Oh, I'll allow it. Yeah, I'll allow it. Did you grow up anywhere else in the Northeast? Because you do sound like a Jersey City nigga, low
No,
key.
but I did move to DC like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's light work. That's light work. That is why you sound like. I got homies in DC.
okay.
Regular, like that's like all right. So a lot of us, like especially like the African diaspora kids, we like pledge iota and shit.
Yeah.
So a lot of people pledge like they'll pledge like iota, kappa, alpha.
Yeah.
So a lot of them kids, I never pledged, but a lot of them kids will go hang out at the DMV. So I got like Nigerian friends and stuff, Ghanaian friends. I'll go hang out with them. They from that area.
Okay.
And I got
Okay.
a lot of cool. So like I know like sound like a DC nigga. Like that's all East Coast shit. Like we sound, you know what I'm saying? We sound alike. But I'm gonna let Salita go, and then I want to unmute Q and then go back to Moody. But Tammy, the biggest piece that I'm taking from this is gaslighting. People trying to gaslight us. We know the difference. We know Yachty what you doing. We know
Right.
what's going on, and you're playing in our face. Like
Correct.
I don't like that.
Correct.
Let me let Salita go real quick. Salita, please jump in. Go ahead. You had a point.
Yeah, no, I just
And
wanted
I
to
want to
add
talk about Drake with you, Salita. I want to talk about Drake
yeah,
with you because
well,
somebody asked
because
a
I see
question.
people going down the road of this is why they get upset at Drake, and it's not the same thing. But the other point I just wanted to make is that while we're gatekeeping, we also have to remember that it's a business, right? And so this is the part that we always get stuck on is that I use the example of people don't want other people speaking patois, but when you go to Jamaica, they sell you hats with Rasta braids at the airport. So are you selling your culture or are you not selling your culture? And if you are selling your culture, what are those parameters that you want in place?
Salita,
Because that's where we get in this slippery slope. Because I don't
Salita,
consider Drake a culture vulture.
okay, can we move the conversation to Drake then? I guess we can never.
Yeah.
I've tried to count 7 episodes. Drake's always came up. I want to answer Officer's question. This is why I started the conversation by asking you guys what's a culture vulture. And the thing that bothers me about Drake, and if you don't like it in this live, it's okay. What do you want me to do? I can't do nothing about this. The problem with Drake is a lot of people can't understand duality. A lot of people can't understand having insight on multiple things. I'll use myself as an example before I go back to Drake. So, officer, I hope you're listening. So the other day I was talking and I threw my Nigerian accent in there. And motherfuckers was like, "You're not one of us. I don't even know why you." And I was like, "Well, I don't
There you
fucking
go.
know. I don't fucking know genius, right? Like, you don't even know. I was born there, came here when I was very young. Do you think that just goes away? Do you think my dad just stopped speaking a certain way? It's the same thing with Drake. And I don't want to argue all day, but whether or not his dad was around all the time, and I know you don't know Toronto like that. And I know you don't know Toronto like that because I've been to Toronto. I've been to Carabana.
But not
And I
only
know
that,
that
can I? Oh, sorry, Q. Can I just get this off? Because it drives me crazy in all these conversations. Because I am of
because
a
they
certain
don't know
age.
Toronto,
New
Salita. They don't know
Jersey,
Toronto.
but also New Jersey and New York rappers made their fortunes in the '90s in Toronto. They came up there for shows.
And a lot of
Toronto is,
these,
is the little brother of New York. Like it just, I don't understand how people don't get
well,
that.
and I know what it is because a lot of the conversations we're having, and I try to have grace, is that a lot of these people sometimes you'll be from the middle of St. Louis. No offense to St. Louis. I know you haven't been to Toronto. I know you never came up to New York. I know you never went to Ghana or Nigeria for Dirty December. I know you never been to Jamaica, right? And I'm not saying I'm the most well traveled, but I know that life is not that simple. People are mixed with a bunch of different things. People have family from a different way. And will I say that to your point, Salita, rap being a business, does Drake take advantage of that commercial capitalistic side? Yes. I'm not defending his overdoing of it. But I do know that life doesn't work that way. Life works in a way where you have influences from people, and when you have you're half Nigerian, half American, half Jamaican, half Jewish, half those things are gonna now. Is he over? If you want to argue that he's overdoing it, cool. But that's why I started this conversation by asking, does the lineage matter? Is that the most important thing? Because if we're using lineage as a way to start this conversation, guys, how in the hell is someone whose uncle helped Prince develop the method of slap bass, whose father was a prominent jazz musician, you know, a culture vulture of Afrocentric music? Then that's when the biracial stuff starts coming in. So to my point is, when I use someone like me as an example, where it's like, oh, you don't know my background, you don't know where I'm from, you don't know, but you attacking me for using Nigerian stuff, and it's like, oh, you made your decision. It's easier with Drake because he light skinned. You made your decision. You decided he's not black. What made you decide that I'm not Nigerian as shit? What made you make that decision? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Right? Like I can switch accents not because I'm some, devious capitalist, but because well, I'm not, my family's Nigerian, I'm Nigerian, I grew up with Americans, I grew up with British people, I grew up with Jamaican people, and I can I don't know that Drake is live, but he's gonna have to wait. I'm live right now. You understand what I'm saying? So so when people
No,
say no,
I totally agree with what you're saying, and when they say that, I see Ant said that the accent didn't come until later. Part of the reason why the accent came when it did, Ant, was because most of the young people in Toronto in the '80s and the '90s talked like New Yorkers. They all listened to Dipset,
yeah, that was a big part.
I
and
mean,
they
I was more so talking about like the actual songs, because like Drake's like, correct me if I'm wrong, right? But Drake's first like major like dip into like the international space with like Control and One Dance, right?
no, it was
Mhm.
Find Your Love on his first album.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
My bad.
because you got to
But
remember, it's not just about him. All of the guys that are in his crew, a lot of them are West Indian descent. A lot, like the boy
but,
Wonder's Jamaican.
but
So
I don't
that has
maybe.
always been a part of Toronto, right?
Yeah, but what I was saying is that maybe it's because like I grew up like I mentioned earlier, I'm Guyanese, but like I've also grown up around like Jamaicans, Haitians, Trinis. So when I hear Drake on "Find Your Love," "Controller," "One Dance," I don't really hear like him trying to. He doesn't imitate a Caribbean accent on those songs. To me, is more so. If anything, he probably might like imitate like the cadence, maybe like the smooth vibe kind
He
of.
imitates a black Canadian that's been surrounded by West Indians and Africans all his life. That's
Yes,
what that
like I'm,
sounds like, right?
yes.
Like that's what it sounds like. He's trying to embrace a culture. It's kind of like if you would go to Spain, you're going to learn a few words of Spanish. You're going to learn how people say things and the cadence of how they speak when you learn a new language before you actually even learn the words. So that's why with him, I don't see it as appropriation. I see it as he's trying to find ways to connect with people. If he didn't go look for, you know, the best of the best, and if he's in Afrobeats, he's looking for the best of the best in Afrobeats. When he's in Jamaica, it's with Popcorn. When he's in different parts of the states, he's looking for the people who are the most authentic people in those areas. And he works with them directly because I think he really does appreciate it. He just has a global mindset. He doesn't have a national mindset. He's got a global mindset.
What
I agree.
I don't basically like, I don't say I completely agree with you, but I do understand what you're saying. What I was saying was that to me personally, like he wasn't like using like Jamaican slang on Controller or like on One Dance. He wasn't out here like why wagwan is that's the only thing I was saying, that like that didn't come
And I
into
want to say
play
this. I want to say
until
this.
later.
And to Officer's point, when we started this conversation, y'all can't say that I'm on here just trying to defend Drake. We asked, what is a cultural appropriator? What is a culture vulture? To Officer's point, he doesn't make a mockery of Jamaican culture, does he?
No.
I never seen it. I
Right.
don't think he
So
makes a
let me
mockery.
so let me let me go let me Moody. I'm gonna come back to you, and then I want to introduce Lee here because we got about only 24 minutes left. Thank you so much for the conversation, guys. Y'all been so introspective, and y'all been so forthcoming. But I really want to establish a few things here, and I know that outside of this live, nobody's gonna want to hear this. But here are a few things we started with when I looked on the live, and I'm looking at my notes. We talked about people being parasites, appropriating versus appreciating. We talked about not being of the culture, not growing in these cultures. So since we got on Drake, let's just talk about Drake because it's the one that confuses people to believe the most. So we've talked about the brother being of Afro descent, right? Afro American descent, right? We talked about the brother growing up in Toronto, right? We talked about that, and we talked about appreciation. So those are three things that the brother is checking off. And I'm not just saying this because I want to. If something wasn't right, guys, I would tell you it wasn't right. So father's African American, grew up in Toronto. I've been to Toronto. If you go to Toronto, bro, you can walk down the street and it's a Filipino landlord, and you walk up the street, it's a Caribbean spot. You walk up the street, it's a damn Nigerian trying to sell you something. That's what Toronto is like. It's almost like Salita said, it's like New York. And then if you're Drake and you spend some summers in Memphis, I could see how and yes, but Katie, you're right, yes, and grew up in rich white neighborhoods in Toronto, and that's probably why he got some of that like sort of tendencies, like a person that grew up in Forest Hills. And by the way, they were broke before they moved up to Forest Hills. So all I'm trying to say to you guys is,
I grew up in
Drake is a,
Forest Hills and I'm broke. So anyway,
but to leave, I mean, but that's what I'm saying though, Salita, is like, that's a perfect example of a motherfucker that's like, that is giving people a headache. And I know he's giving people a headache because I use me as an example. I'm giving Nigerians a headache right now. Nigerians not Moody, no cap. I got Nigerians not understanding me. They confused. Oh, why are you talking like that? You don't sound. Are you us? Or you? What are 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 you? I'm like, oh God, please don't jealous me. Don't jealous me.
Oh God,
My
please.
God might say they can't understand it. They like, and it's like, is it cosplaying if I can do it on the drop of a dime? If it cosplaying if I can speak Yoruba like this?
I think
So
that's a
mo tí mo
skill.
sọ, mo lè sọ Yoruba, mo lè sọ, díẹ̀, but mo lè sọ. That's confusing people, and that's what I mean by the difference between someone that's existed within different cultures, that's existed within different avenues, versus someone that we can tell, like Ann said, that we know you're not from. We just know you. You don't even confuse us. We just know. Drake, I just think confuses people,
True.
right? Let me. So hold this thought. I'm gonna come back to y'all. Let me. I forgot the damn order. I know Moody. You said Moody. Please don't lose your point. So go ahead, say your point. You say you have 5 minutes on your point. Then I'm gonna go to Lee. Then I'm gonna come back to Q, back to Ann, and back to Tender.
Yeah, thank you. Let me try and be less than 5 minutes on this point. Let me start from the foundation. I don't like when I hear people say this rapper is not good because they don't play his songs in the hood. I don't like that. The reason why I don't like that is people don't know how big rap is. Rap is so big. You see people in New Zealand rapping. You see Egyptians rapping. Rap is so big. So when someone now starts saying, like Gucci Mane says it a lot, I don't hear this rapper song in the hood. You are limiting rap. Rap is a global genre of music and is the widest and fastest spreading. There was one Indian who did a song, I think it was last week, that was really
Mankind.
now.
Mankind.
Exactly. Now, you can't start saying it's a culture vulture. Rap is so big and so global. So we limited ourselves thinking it should just be for the hood and in Compton and the rest. That is wrong. You know my favorite rapper. I don't need to tell you. Maybe others might not know, but you know I don't joke with M. M is my top. M is my number one. When Drake came out, I wasn't a Drake fan. I didn't really like Drake. But Celine said something that was very, very accurate just now. She said Drake did a song with Afrobeats, Wizkid, arguably the top three, one of the biggest Afrobeats musicians in Nigeria. Drake did a song with someone from Jamaica. Drake is someone that I've seen that loves music. Loves music. So if Drake can do a rock song with anyone, Drake will do it. So Drake loves music. Now, before the beef started, I've never been a Drake fan. I used to say lyrically, Drake isn't my top 20 because I love lyrics. I love people that spit. I love entendres. Someone that will make me think twice, like Jay-Z and Lil Wayne. You know, I love Mos Def. I love people that make me think twice. So I've never been a Drake fan. But when this beef started and Kendrick said things like he's trying to be black, he's not like us. I think you said something once in your video that has divided rap more than united rap. It's actually divided rap more. So why are you saying it's not like us? He's trying to be black because he's singing with Atlanta rappers and everything. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing if he sings with so many African American rappers. It's not. Even if it was a white man, it's not. It's even good for the music business. But now that you're like, oh, it's not like us. It's not like this. It's a culture vulture. That's what I don't get. I don't think Drake. I might be wrong. I don't think Drake has ever done any song about popping niggas or, pardon my French, about doing illegal things, about selling drugs. I don't know.
Well,
I might be wrong.
you know what Drake
definitely
has
has
done.
that,
You know
but
what Drake has done, Booty. He's walked that line. He's walked that line. But what I appreciate about Drake is he's walked the line as he got richer and more powerful.
yeah.
And that's why I think a lot of people miss. But I can see how people don't like it. I can see how people don't appreciate it. Like Mob Ties, for example, right? If Drake, to me, and this is to me, if Drake had did, and I'm gonna unmute Lee here. Sorry, Lee, because you were supposed to go next, but I want to address a lot of what Moody said. Thank you so much for your perspective, brother. Um, I want to talk about Mob Ties first, and then I want to talk about a lot of the things you mentioned, Moody. If Drake had done Mob Ties early in his career, I could see what people were saying. I did not like that. But Drake doing Mob Ties, stories about my brother, for me, Tammy, I understand it doesn't sound believable. For me, sounds a little different when I hear a multi-million dollar artist who has grown into his own. It takes a long time to grow a beard. And when you grow a beard, you've had some life experiences. So Mob Ties doesn't sound the same for me as it sounds for a lot of people who don't appreciate it. Because Mob Ties for me, I'm using nuance like, yeah, I'm sick of these niggas. Like I get it. You sick of Kanye West. You sick of you don't started hanging out with Jay Prince. I mean, Jay Prince's son brought you up here before, but you started leaning into it. That don't make it less corny to some people. I'm okay with y'all if you think it's corny, but it don't sound less real to me because I know that Mob Ties got some truth to it. I know that you don't come up millions of dollars without making relationships with some rich and dangerous people. And that's why I allow Mob Ties. But I'm not about to judge you if you don't allow it, right? But Moody, to the other points that you made, and we getting no, I'm not gonna wrap up. I'm gonna go to 5:30 because I took too long to get on, so I'm gonna extend this live to 5:30. But I'm trying to see both sides. I'm trying to see people that can't see Drake differently. But to the people that can't see Drake differently, you not seeing him differently don't make him a culture vulture. And that's where we disconnect. Because if you want to go by birthright, if you want to go by lived experience, birthright, he's of African American descent. By experience, he's experiencing things in America that would put him in certain situations. The person that signed him was Lil Wayne, whose tour bus got shot up. And y'all can acknowledge that. But all of a sudden, you see this light. No. Lived experience. You're right, Musa. And I would love to get you on, Musa. I would love to get you on. That don't make it the African American experience. I admit that, brother. But what I'm saying is to be that upset at it. Now, if you're upset at it during the beef, cool, because it's beef. People can say whatever during beef. But the experience is warranted. Daddy Black, I'm here in this cutthroat rap world. Me off. I'm aligning myself with some very serious guys. Here's how I feel. It don't mean you gotta believe it, but does that make me a culture vulture? And that's why I don't want people to miss the point. Because sometimes with Drake, we start talking about other things that ain't got nothing to do with the point. The point is, can you call him a culture vulture? Because Drake to me versus Tekashi 6ix9ine versus Lil Mabu are two different worlds.
Clear cut differences. Clear cut.
True, like I mean, it's not even close to me. You ain't got to like it. You ain't got to like him, but it ain't the same. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, guys, it ain't the same.
Yeah, I don't like.
Musa, I want to get you on, Musa, because you're making some great points, brother, but I can't invite you. Hey, Angie said we can hit 10K before the live is over. Angie's goddamn right. We had 9.8 likes. 9.8 thousand likes. Like the live, goddammit. 10K before 5:30. 10K before 5:30. I think I can get Musa on. Can I get Musa on? Musa's making some great points.
I like to
Go ahead, Ed. Go ahead, Ed.
I think that in terms of to bring it back
It's on time. I'll
to
never
bring it
finish on
back
time.
to the whole culture vulture thing, and maybe Drake can possibly come into this, but like one of the main aspects of why people hate culture vultures is because they tend to be able to profit off of the culture way more than someone actually of it can, right? So, like for example, right, there's no reason why Iggy Azalea, when she had her run, was being compared to Nicki, considering the fact that there were other female rappers who were rapping longer, right? But because of that,
Iggy Azalea should not, and that's the thing. Okay, we just
right?
went
Like
from Drake to Iggy Azalea, and that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
not comparing Drake to
How
Iggy.
is Drake a culture vulture, but Iggy Azalea from Australia can
Let her rock. Just let her
switch
rock.
complete accents? Q, I'm gonna let you go.
No, but
Y'all let it rock, and then hold on. I'm sorry, Kendrick. Kendrick defended Iggy Azalea. If I'm lying, I'm flying. You're about
Yes.
to make me crash out. I'm gonna
no,
pull up the
Yes.
exact quote.
no,
Go ahead, Ed. Go
Yes.
ahead, Ed.
that was not the point I was making. The point I'm saying, Aiken, is
For
that
me, trying to
the point I
TI.
was trying to say is that like maybe some people kind of view Drake in that lens because he's able to adapt these styles, certain styles, and be able to profit from them way more than people who are actually from that culture and style can. Like, for example, has an Afrobeat song come close to the success that one dance had? Has a dancehall song has
In
come close to
America, no. In America, no.
Yeah, I was gonna
ex-
say America,
exactly,
no,
exactly. So I think
yeah. So go ahead.
But
exactly
Burner Boy,
has a dancehall song.
Hold on, Ann. Can I address something real quick? Because it's people in the chat. And y'all know me. Hold on, let me get my Henny hip hop. I'm not getting sponsored for this, guys, but I just I want to practice. Y'all gotta let me practice. Let me lighten the chat up a little bit because we're getting out of hand, especially me. Let me do my content creator promo. Sorry, Ant, to make this less serious. Hey guys, Hip Hop 50 by Hennessy. We're celebrating 50 years of hip hop. Join me, join me as we grab ourselves a bottle of Henny
That's a
and
real bottle.
celebrate.
You've been drinking that.
That's a
You're
real
not.
bottle.
You're not even
It's a
getting
real.
paid for this, gang. You over here sponsoring.
All right, hold on, Ant. I'm gonna get the user 987. Like I said, we're going to 5:30. Miranda, you said when did Kendrick say that? I think that's how your voice sounds. When did no, you're British. You're from London. Oh my God, when did Kendrick say that? He did not
Oh
say that.
shit.
Miranda, he said, and I quote, this was the question. That's why I get my laptop, because you motherfuckers be trying me. They said, the question was, but in 2013 on Wax, the Compton rapper was asked about Iggy Azalea, who's become a popular punching bag, especially from people like J. Cole and Twitter in general, about her cosplaying. Said, I'm gonna pour my drink for this one. This is a goddamn dunk. I'm about to dunk on your ass. Watch who you talking to.
Oh
Kendrick
shit.
said, and I quote, she's doing her thing, Lamar tells Billboard. She's doing her thing. The fuck up. Let her. People have to go through trials and tribulations to get where they're at. Do your thing. Continue to rock it because obviously God wants you here. Shut the fuck up,
Listen,
Duckworth.
Nasty
Shut up.
take, dog.
God
You
wants
get that
God
game.
wants Iggy Azalea here,
You were
but
trying.
he doesn't
Drake
want
here.
Drake
He's
here.
trying to.
Shut
Nasty
the
take,
fuck
dog.
up, bro. Shut the
That
fuck.
was
And
a
that's
di-
why Kendrick, my man. Kendrick, my man. I'm sorry to keep cutting you off. He my man, 100 grand. But that's the type of bullshit I be talking about. Because you got all the smoke for Drake. We got all the smoke about Drake One Dance. Iggy Azalea came in from Australia with all types of rap accents, sounding like a chick from Atlanta. No
the
smoke.
the
Bro,
point.
but
The point. I wasn't saying that Drake is a culture vulture. I was
Not
just.
you, Ant. Not you, Ant. I'm just talking generally.
I
We
was
talking
just
generally.
saying.
Not you, Ant.
See now. Look at this. There's a brother in the comments saying that Afro beats wouldn't be in the mainstream if it wasn't for Drake. Like
I'm not gonna say that. That's
statements
He
like
crazy.
helped. He helped.
That's
But
yes,
you
cap,
see,
he
bro.
did help.
okay, okay,
He did
okay,
help, but see, so what
and
I'm saying is
and
that statements like that is why people look at Drake funny. Like
but
because
is that on Drake? Hold on, and
No,
no,
that's
it's
not
not.
on
hold
Drake.
on,
That's
hold
not
on.
on Drake.
And I want to
Who
get on.
said that?
Okay, and hold on. Oh my God, hold on. Who is this trying to get on? Hold on. Oh wait, we finna get turned. Musa's finally here. Salida, I'm gonna
That's
let you
like
go for
saying
a second.
that's
For
like
a
saying
second.
that oh dancehall wouldn't be in the mainstream if it wasn't for Drake.
No, okay,
Like
hold on.
I was
Time out,
listening
Ant.
to
Time out.
Afro beats
Time out.
before I was listening to Afro beats before Drake even did One Dance because I
Okay,
got put on. But that's the thing.
and hold on. And this is the problem I have. This is the problem I have. Okay, let's go back. Drake. The people making the
What's
statements
good,
about
Josh?
the people making the statement. Ant, you with me, Ant? And I want to move on to Q a little bit, and then I want to get to Musa and user 987. We got to find out who user 987 is, brother. And that ain't Drake's fault. But however, talk about with appropriation versus appreciating. On One Dance, that's got Wizkid's name on it, just off the strength of his name. And on top of that, this is what I don't understand, I don't like about the Drake critique. I remember the Ojua Legba remix with Drake on it. And I remember that. Moody, unmute yourself a little bit because I think you can speak to this, brother. Because I want to tell Ant, like, people saying Afro beats wouldn't be where it is without Drake. That's their problem. Drake never said that. That's the important part. And on top of Drake never saying that, I know that Drake didn't just take one dance, put it on his album, and that was the dopest shit ever. He went back and gave Wizkid the old Drew Legba remix that didn't end up on no album. And
Yes,
and
true.
and guys, get it. Win a beef, and but Q, Moody, I wanted you guys to unmute yourself specifically for this conversation. How
Yeah,
are we
I'm
not giving
with
credit to somebody that is his biggest crime is capitalism. He wants to make more money. But he ain't never done none of the stuff we're accusing people of, other than the fact that his fans are idiots, just like some Kendrick fans are idiots.
When is the last time Drake collabed with an Afrobeat artist outside of that? That was good.
He had to
you.
join with Tim's with Future. That don't count.
I
He
don't.
had to join a CLB with Tim's. That don't count.
Yeah, I got that. I
Oh,
got
but I
that.
think that was like a 5 year gap.
Yeah, that's my point. It's
Gap.
like he hasn't really done much for Afrobeats
I was like,
outside
Wait,
of the
that's
Wizkid.
not
Like
wait,
fair.
I'll give you the Thames thing,
wait,
but come on now. But I think
I
that's
have a
the issue
One
problem with
at
that
a
that
time.
people
Hold
statement.
have
on.
with
One
him.
He
at a time.
hasn't done
Yeah,
much for
Hold on.
Afrobeat. Is he
Hold on.
supposed to
Hold
do
on.
anything for
Hold
Afrobeat?
on. Hold on. Because this is we ended up on Drake, and I'm glad we're gonna finish up on Drake because I'm gonna be honest. This is ridiculous, guys. Like we I'm gonna mute everybody for a second. This is not this, and it's like I'm tired of people saying I'm a Drake defender, but this is what I'm talking about, and I'm gonna do one at a time. I'm gonna start with Moody as a Nigerian. This is like I'm not emotional or nothing. It's probably the handy. This is ridiculous. No one man should have all this fucking responsibility. So Drake came in doing Afro beats, gave people love, put stuff on his album, gave people verses, right? And we're moving the goalposts. Continue to cultivate the relationship. Some fans are saying, if not for Drake, Afro beats went up there. Okay, I admit the fans are idiots. Drake never said that. But there's probably other songs we haven't heard yet. And from what I know, before For All the Dogs and CLB, he had Tim's on there. He had, I'll bet, not the hottest song. He had records with Future and Tim's. Like, 1 minute, y'all want this guy to be the fucking Jesus of rap. The next minute, you think he's not that important. So, Moody, I'm going to unmute you as a Nigerian. I want to ask you. We've both admitted that I think we have admitted, tell me if I'm wrong, that a Drake fan saying Afro beats wouldn't be nowhere in America without Drake is an idiot. Afro
Big
beats
it, bro.
artists have worked
And
hard.
it's
But do
an
you feel
insult.
offended as a Nigerian with Drake doing
Yes.
what he's doing?
No, I feel more offended with Drake's fans that open their mouth and say things like that. Because I remember when people like
It has nothing
D'banj.
to do with Drake.
Yes, I remember when people like D'banj were actually doing songs with Kanye and Snoop Dogg. I remember when P Square they were actually doing songs with Rick Ross. That was before Drake and Wizkid ever got together. And funny enough, as a Nigerian, I'll tell you, Drake and Wizkid is not even Wizkid's top 10 popular songs. It's not even Wizkid's top 10 popular
So
songs.
that didn't even
So
have
I
the
don't have a
impact that it
problem with Drake.
had.
Where I have a problem is the fan base. Now, someone just said Drake made Afro people. It's all those things that make neutrals turn on Drake and say Drake is a culture vulture. But
This
Drake
is my
has never
problem.
said it.
When you're asking me to not attack Kendrick for what his fans are saying, now why do you get to attack Drake for what his fans are saying?
Good point.
Okay, let's hold on 1 second, Moody. I'm gonna meet you. I want to get. I don't know, bro. Like I'm not trying to be fucking Drake's defense attorney, but what the fuck? Like I don't understand. Like 1 minute Drake needs to go independent to save rap, and he needs to stop letting UMG. Next minute he's not hip hop. He's a pop artist. Which is it? Is it Uchi Wally Wally? Is it one mic? Let me get the two people that haven't spoke yet. User 987, please give us your name. I don't know why you're user 987.
Why you're using 987. Yo, you can hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
Yes, sir, we can hear you. All right, word. So I think it could be a little bit exaggerated at times, but like I heard academics say this once. He said it's better to be liked than to be right, right? And Drake is just not liked by much people outside of his fans. So when he does things that could even be slightly shady, I feel like they get magnified times 1,000. Like for example, that shit he did with Drum. with the Hotline Bling. I feel like a lot of people will look at some shit like that and be like,
I don't like that. I don't
see,
like that, by
that
the way.
nigga's a
I don't
culture
like that.
vulture.
I don't like that, by the way. I don't like that.
Then the shit he did with KTM or KMT with XXX, shit like that, you feel me? And then the shit when X died, poking fun or making it or alluding or making it seem like he had a hand when X's death, and shit like that. A lot of those situations can make people look at Drake and be like, that nigga is appropriate or he's bullying. Like, I feel like Drake knows the position of power he's in, and he flexes on pretty much anybody he feel like he could strong arm in terms of popularity and impact. And I feel like he
We're
does that a
expecting.
lot.
We're expecting.
Now,
We're
We're
expecting.
expecting.
We're
We're
expecting a
expecting.
certain
We're
humility from
expecting a
Drake.
certain humility from Drake.
I mean, in a way, because when you think about it, a lot of people try to say everybody hates on Drake because he's the biggest. I feel like that's a cop out, because when Kanye was the biggest artist in the world, was he beefing with all these other artists? When Michael Jackson was the biggest pop star in the world, he was loved and revered. When Jay-Z was the biggest rapper, he was revered by. He did have his issues with some people, but he was far more respected and revered than Drake was. You get what I'm trying to say? And then
Yeah.
when Lil Wayne was the biggest, everybody loved Wayne because I feel like they handled the throne or the quote unquote crown with a lot more honor and integrity, I would say. Drake is not just hated because he's the biggest. Of course, being big offers.
My bad, bro. I think I might have cut you off a little bit too early. A little bit too early. Finish your point, because you got a little bit of echo. So before I start speaking, I wanted you to finish your point.
Finish your point. Because you got a little bit of echoes. Before I start speaking, I wanted you to finish your point.
I guess to wrap it up, I think Drake, yeah, to agree with you, I feel like he should show a little bit more humility and a little bit more appreciation. But that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brother, can y'all drop in the chat, give user 987 some advice on how to get rid of echo? And user 987, please put your name in the chat. I'm tired of calling user 987. I want to address your points before I finally get to Musa. And then I'm going to get to Lens and Jeffrey. Jaden. Okay, thank you, Jaden. Jaden, I want to give you some pushback before I get to Musa. There are two things that you mentioned here, brother, that I think are very valid, but I have pushbacks for them. So the first thing that you mentioned is when Kanye may have had the baton. Hey, let's not call it the throne because it's the baton. It gets passed on. Is that Kanye didn't deal with it the way Drake is dealing with it. Kanye had his own struggles, but Kanye's struggles were less about his identity as far as being a black man, but his struggles were more about, do you deserve to be here as a producer? Do we care about you? You're just some producer nigga. And Kanye also had his own missteps, Jaden. Taylor Swift then is a misstep. Getting on stage, doing that stuff, doing Last Call where he talks about the whole game didn't want to rock with him and how everybody wanted a gangster with jerseys. That's a misstep. But I think Kanye's personality and rap content is not very much rap. Let's beef. It's very much like the whole world wanted me to flop and now I'm here. I got these chains and I got these designer and I'm gonna do my fashion. And I think Kanye was able to duck what we're seeing because he's still a black man from Chicago at the end of the day who was just discredited as a backpack rapper before backpack was cool. So very different circumstances. Where I think Drake, and this is again more Drake defense, is more so there's some light skinned, half Jewish, half black kid. We don't think you're supposed to be here. You sing and rap. Who said nah? And literally, and I'm quoting him, F all that happy to be here shit that y'all want me on. I'm the big homie. They still trying to little bro me like I should fall in line. He took a different approach, which is not the greatest approach, but very different. I want to get to Musa a little bit. So I think it's a bit of difference. It's a bit of difference in how Kanye moved and how Drake moved with their disadvantages, with their judgment, and with their approach moving forward in rap. And not that one is right and one is wrong. We've been past 10K on the live portion. Thank you so much. We've been. That's all I wanted was 10K. Y'all love to turn up when you know I'm about to get off. Musa, what's up, baby? Talk to me, Musa. Appreciate you joining. I know you from the
I have a
click.
question.
I know you
I have a
from the
question,
click,
Mr.
Musa.
Sorry, I just have a question. Quick question.
Hold on, Musa. Go ahead, Moody.
If Drake was from New York or Compton
I
and
don't
still
need to hear your
mixed,
question. The
will
answer
he
is
be
no.
hated like that?
No, because J. Cole does do pro-black stuff, but J. Cole's from Carolina. Motherfuckers hate Canadians, Moody. They don't want to admit it. We are taught to hate Canadians. Moody, I don't need to hear your whole question, brother. The answer is no. Chat, if I'm wrong, tell me. If I'm wrong, Moody, I'm sorry for cutting you off. I didn't need to hear your question. I swear to
No, no
God,
problem, no problem.
if
Because I've
Drake
been
was
saying it for a long
mixed,
time.
but was from North, if Drake was from
Ah.
Philly, man, we ain't be dealing with this bullshit.
Or it was
Hey,
from
Lance,
Compton,
hold
signed by
on, Moody.
Dre.
Moody, hear this out, because you in Nigeria, right, brother? You in Lagos?
Yeah.
Brother,
Abuja. I'm in
listen.
Abuja, but I'm from Delta.
Abuja General.
But I'm from Delta.
So, hold on, Naira. You have Nairas. Okay. Big spender. But guys, let me ask you a question. No, and don't do that. Don't say we don't hate Weekend or Cardinal. Weekend and Cardinal aren't doing the same thing. They're not pursuing the same things. But Moody, let me answer something real quick. The thing with Drake, you have to understand. Drake is from Canada and is pursuing something. He's pursuing a GOAT status. He's pursuing rap. He's pursuing I'm the guy in rap. And forget light skin. Puerto Rican New York got a better chance. But we're gonna come back to the conversation, Moody. I'm sorry to cut you off. I already knew the answer before you asked me. If Drake, I swear to God, bro, if Drake was from Philly, regular. If Drake was from Philly, would he act different? Yeah. Yeah. Musa, I've been meaning to get you on, brother. Thank you so much for being patient. What up, brother? What up, brother? Talk to me.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate you letting me come on your platform.
Thank you so much for joining in, brother.
So, my opinion, I don't know if it's like a little bit nuanced. I'm not saying most African Americans feel this way, but when Drake was introduced to the scene, I think the expectation from African Americans was that Drake was this biracial black man. And that came with the expectation that, yeah, he has these black elements, but also we don't know what type of white he's bringing to the scene. And I know this might sound crazy, but I think that expectation, it left some mystery. And then when Drake started to rap, he set a standard. He set a standard of like, well, originally when Drake came back with comeback season, he was rapping over sample beats from Knife Wonder. And so I think the expectation was like he was gonna be like a rapper's rapper. And then I think the expectation kind of shifted when he started to explore different genres of music. And
Musa,
typically,
Musa,
yes,
can I stop you right there? I think
yep,
you make a very great point, brother. And that's why I hate when people think I can't switch my position. You make such a great point, brother. I'm gonna ding Drake for something here. Are you with me? Unmute yourself. I want to have some dialogue. Musa,
yes,
on 3 lives ago, Musa, I had talked about some dating coach. I saw a video of his that stuck in my head. I don't think this guy's the smartest guy ever. He talks about how with Tupac, because Tupac grew up in New York. You with me, Musa?
yeah,
Right? And then moved to LA as a kid, right? And then he said that the reason, and then he was a revolutionary with his parents and stuff like that, right? Moody, take care, brother. But Musa, follow me. He's saying that with Pac, we were able to tell when the expectations changed, while Pac became more gangster. You dig
yeah,
me, Musa? But he said that, and I'll never forget this. His name is Jace the Pickup Scientist. I know he's not very popular on TikTok right now. A lot of people hate him. But he made such a good point, Musa, is that he said that with Pac was able to show when his life changed and when expectations changed. And that was when he got shot the first time and when went to jail the first time. So the audience, Musa, was able to go, okay, those things happen to you. Because of those things, you should now change up. You
Mm-hmm.
get me, Musa? And he said that I will never forget this video. I don't know him and he don't know me, but that's about one of the smartest takes on TikTok. He said that Musa, dig me though,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
He said that this shit is so deep, and he's a fucking dating coach, and he was like, "You got to teach women this." I was like, "What the fuck is you talking about?" But it was such a good rap take. He said that because Drake was never able to signify when his life changed, he was never able to show the audience when the change happened. He was never able to point out the audience. The audience, to your point, Musa, and I'm gonna let you continue. The audience can't understand the change in expectation. Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
exactly. No, I totally agree. Great point, great example, and I think that's what happened. And so, in my opinion, Drake kind of got lined up because even though I think commercially people look at Kendrick as a little condensed for like it's a focus from the African American perspective as a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
Him growing up in LA, a lot of people can recognize a lot of the elements that Kendrick's come from, even if they're not from LA, just on a
Mm-hmm.
cultural level. And I think with Drake, um, the angle that he got lined up in was that Kendrick was coming for Drake's black card when or
Mm-hmm.
blackness, his authentic blackness, and almost all the hate that he had because he didn't show that transition, all that hate that he garnered over the years catapulted Kendrick to where he is commercially now. Not saying that he wasn't a great artist because I love Kendrick. I think he's a exceptional artist. But what I think happened was Kendrick picked that angle, and Drake,
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't provide that, like you said, that's such a great point. Because the expectation kept on changing. Afrobeats Drake, reggae
Mm-hmm.
Drake, UK drill Drake. It's like
We don't know. We don't know
what
which one
what is
we're
going
dealing
on?
with to win this battle.
And so Kendrick was like, "Hey, I've arrived. This is what I'm representing, and I know that you're going through these transitions, and I'm going to call you out on something that I'm already." He has the cultural cachet that I'm already a part of, and people have already, verified my authenticity.
Mm. Now let me ask you a question, Musa. Let me ask you a question. If if Drake was able to understand the implications of people thinking he was a culture vulture and took it seriously, do you think that would have changed? Because again, this conversation today is about culture vultures, understanding where you stand. Do you think that Drake took it for granted that people assumed he was of the culture? Do you think he took that for granted? Like he just assumed people thought he was of this?
Oh, definitely. I think he definitely overestimated his cultural cachet for sure. I think that's what it
Okay.
was. I think he thought that like, hey, I got connections in the industry.
I mean,
I
I've
made
been here for years.
yeah, I made connections with this person. I made songs with this person. I brought up this artist, that artist. Um, but yeah, he definitely
Interesting.
overestimated that for sure. And then,
Okay. Oh,
oh,
go
what was you gonna
ahead.
say? Oh, well, I was just gonna make one last point about the whole if Jake was from the U.S. Um, him being a biracial man, just coming from, like I said, maybe nuanced, but the African American perspective a little bit, and I'm not speaking for everybody. If he was a biracial man from the U.S., I think he would have to champion a regional sound, or he would have to go the J. Cole route, where that whole self discovery within, the black lens, um, kind of,
Reiterating time and time again that he knows he's a black man.
yes, I feel
Okay.
like that's just the dynamic within the culture. Unfortunately, I'm
No,
not
no,
saying
no.
it's right.
See, the thing, no. I get you, Musa, because a lot of people don't understand what that means. Like, it's sort of picking a side because human beings deal better with you when you pick a. Like, human beings understand you a lot more when you make distinctions of what you are. right? Like when you say it out loud, like a lot of people can feel me more when I say confused about me, but I say, well, what do you mean? I'm Nigerian American. I'm black. Like I don't feel, you know what I'm saying, Musa?
Yeah,
Like
expectation.
a lot of people feel better when I say it, when I'm standing 10 toes on it, when I'm making videos about Nigeria, when I'm making videos of things that's happening in the North. I'm like, no, this, you know what I'm saying? I'm showing my allegiance, whereas I think Drake might have fell short on some of those things.
Oh, for sure. And J. Cole capitalized on it, especially with
Yeah, but
what
go
were you
ahead.
gonna say?
No, go ahead. But what I do want to say though, Musa, before you go, is that but that's the problem is because that don't make you a culture vulture though, right? And that's the problem. Like not standing 10 toes on like your blackness. And this is why we got to reconnect the conversation back to the Ians, back to the little Mabus, back to the Takashi. And that's why the first thing I ask you guys is, what makes you a tribute to the culture? I don't tell me I'm part of the culture more than Drake is. His father's African American. I go from lineage and connection. So for me, the connections is lineage, connection, right, and lived experience. Dig me, Musa. So so remember this whole conversation. I know you've done a lot of deep dive. You've done some great work and what we're talking about, brother. But it's like the lineage thing makes it very hard for me. I want to unmute Lens here. Thank you so much, Musa. That was some really great insight. I want to, Lens, what up, brother? You laughing? Why you
What's
laughing?
up?
What's so funny? 50 years of hip hop. Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. 50 years
Nah,
of hip
because
hop. Stop playing with
you
me.
already know I'm gonna have some crazy points. So you already know what it is.
Talk to me, brother. Absolutely. Let's talk about it. We're talking about culture vultures. We move on to our Drake segment. We waited a long time to really bring up Drake. I don't think Drake is a culture vulture, so that's what really bothers me.
I don't think
Um,
he is either.
Miranda, we're giving Drake props from dance hall. I don't think we're doing any such things, but I would definitely ask you on, Miranda. Please, Miranda, send an invite because I don't know why you think we're doing that. We're not doing that, but we're just trying to get understanding of when he does tap into Afro beats, does he do what typical culture vultures does? So, Lance, talk to me. What are some of the things you got about Drake being a culture vulture and talking about just culture vultures overall?
I think because I mean, a couple of the people were kind of like saying how crazy it was for the things that I was saying up in there in chat. But I'll be honest with you. I think if anything, we can be honest, and I think a lot of people don't have it in them to be honest because of the hate that they have for this dude. But we can be honest. The last time you heard dancehall or any of that was back whenever Sean Paul came out. After that, and I always say mainstream is because mainstream. I think Drake knew how big he was and how he wanted to start putting more people up on, and that's how we got into the situation that we're in right now. Because I'll be honest with you, he didn't have to go out and find WizKid. He didn't have to go out and find Skepta. He didn't have to do any of that. But I think he knew how big he was and how much he loves music, and he wanted to bring them and put them up to the forefront because nobody was like these people were people and they were big in their own city and their own countries, but it wasn't in the U.S. And the people, I can't remember his name earlier, but it's like we're not saying that we're giving him credit for actually like creating or like having us listen to these sounds, but nobody was listening to WizKid. Nobody was listening to Afro beats on this level.
I was, but that's different. I'm on
You
something
were, but
different.
I'm talking about them like as far as to it being on the radio, as far as to it being talked about. It
I don't think I like the term no one. I think I like the term it wasn't in the forefront.
Afro beats was big in the UK before Drake.
Yeah, but we're talking
we
about
live in the
America.
U.S.
We're talking about
Dancehall
America.
like Vibes Cartel,
But wait,
Spice,
wait, wait,
Shaggy,
wait,
Beenie
wait,
Man.
wait.
They all had runs like
But I'm talking about the U.S. and it makes a lot of sense for the U. It makes a lot of
respectfully, where
sense
you
for the
from?
U. It makes a
Respect,
lot of sense for the UK to have that is because there's a lot of people from those cultures that actually live there and that
respectfully,
are
respectfully,
that they're a part of that.
are you from the Northeast? Like, are you from New York, Philly?
I'm from the South.
Yeah. And that's where the cultural divide is because in like you get saying that, oh, nobody's listening to dancehall, like Yes, they were listen. We were listening to dancehall and Afro beats and
But
Who was you listening to?
in
After
Miami.
Guys,
after Sean
hold
Paul, who
on,
was you
hold
listening
on,
to?
hold on, hold on, hold on. I'm about to mute both of y'all.
I literally just said Vibes Cartel.
Shut up, man. No offense, man. No offense, man. Hey, throw some laughing emojis on there. Gotta mute them. Hey, I gotta mute them, guys. I'm gonna let y'all back on. But I have a way to solve this. Sorry, Aunt. My bad, Aunt. You ain't wrong. It's me that's wrong. Hey, you're not the problem. I am. Hey, you good, brother. I gotta mute y'all. Okay, guys. One of my favorite quotes is from Skip Bayless. Not Skip Bayless. Fuck that. Colin Cowherd. Don't try to be right, get it right. So I'm about to do an experiment. That's why I love having my laptop. I like Henny HUK. You're calling me a drunkard. Shut up. Don't say you like drunk me. Guys, all right, let's do an experiment. All right, here's what we're gonna do. End of the year, guys, follow me. End of the year, 2015 top 100 list. The reason I'm using 2015 is because One Dance with Wizkid and Drake came out in 2016. Follow me, just follow me. It's not an exact science, guys. Miranda, why are you upset? Why are you throwing the wrong eyes? I'm confused. I'm trying to get it right. Now you're laughing. This is not Black Mirror. Don't use words. Stop using emojis. I'm trying to get this right. Okay, Lens. We're using mainstream top 100, and the reason why I just want to solve something real quick. Mainstream is what's the most popular? Portia, God. We're using the most popular in the U.S. I just want to do two things, guys. Before we get back, I'm gonna unmute everybody. But this is why I like numbers. I just want to go through the top 100 hip hop. No, I'm sorry. Top 100 U.S. Billboard hits end of the year. So end of the year means what were the highest ranking songs end of the year? I'm not gonna crash out. So these songs are gonna sound very familiar to you guys. I'm not gonna list every one of them, but I'm gonna tell you if I see Afro beats, and then I'm gonna go to the 2016 end of the year wrap up. Right? Okay. So just to give you an idea, top 10 2015 end of the year Billboard, okay? Uptown Funk, Mark Ronson, Bruno Mars. That feels like a long time ago. Thinking Out Loud, Ed Sheeran. See You Again, Wiz Khalifa. That sound about right. I'm surprised Wiz Khalifa is not number one. Trap Queen, Fetty Wap, right? We're talking about the US here, guys. Shut Up and Dance by Walk the Moon. Blank Space, Taylor Swift. Now, you got Can't Feel My Face by The Weekend. That's number 12. I'm scrolling to see if I see any Afro beats. So follow me, guys. Now I'm just trying to see if I see any Afro beats. I even see Pitbull and Neo, Time of Our Lives, number 39. I'm not lying to y'all. I don't see no Afro beats. I see My Way by Fetty Wap, number 44. Have My Money, year end, Rihanna number 48. It finished number 48. Follow me, guys. This is year end. If you have any questions, put it in the chat. Year end, no Afro beats. No Afro beats. Beyonce, 7-Eleven, number 61. This is year end calculations. That's why I love having my internet. I love having my laptop, guys. Afro beats in the top 100. Tuesday, number 82. I Love McConan featuring Drake. That's important. Big Sean, Blessings, number 88. Sharon, Don't, number 92. Back to back, Drake, number 99. Now, guys, I'm going to Google. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Hot 100. If I'm lying, I'm flying. If I'm lying, I'm flying. If I'm lying, I'm flying. And then I'm going to unmute Ant and Lens. If I'm lying, I'm flying. See me type in Hot Singles 100 2016. God, if I'm lying, I'm flying. Generate. Taking too long. Let me unmute y'all. Lens, I'm on mute you. And I'm on mute you.
If I'm lying, I'm flying. Top 100 year-end singles. Year-end. I'm not picking a random month. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Overall calculations. Number one, Love Yourself. I don't know what the fuck that is. Justin Bieber. Number two, Sorry, Justin Bieber. Number three, if I'm lying, I'm flying. One Dance Drake. If I'm lying, flying. If I'm lying, number three, Year End, Drake, featuring Wizkid and Kyla. Three, One Dance. Four, Work, Rihanna featuring Drake. Guys, come on. All right, let's get back to the argument. Y'all see what I did there? If I'm lying, I'm flying. I went to the previous year, no Afro beats. Now, here's what's so funny. I want to see when Burna Boy held the. When did Year come out?
I have no idea.
I want to say he came out around like 2017, 2016, but he didn't start hitting the waves over here until like
Came out 2018.
2020.
2018. Okay, watch this. Billboard. That's why I love the internet. Our ancestors couldn't do this. They couldn't argue while having the internet. 2018 Billboard Year and Hot Singles. Here we go. Number one, God's Plan, Drake. Number two, Perfect. Watch this. I'm looking for Burna Boy. I know it's on here. It gotta be on here. Burna Boy. Where are you, Burna Boy? Kendrick. I don't care about that right now. Is that high?
Yeah. Whoever said that in the comments, OVO Sound Radio made a huge dent up on how music was played.
Now it's feeling like Drake put on Burna Boy. I don't like that. I don't like that.
I'm not saying he put them on, but
I don't
he
like that. Why is
definitely
it so
paved
high?
the way for the
All right, let me say
mainstream.
2019.
No,
Let me
he
see. What
didn't.
the?
No, he did not. Okay, Burna Boy. Listen, Burna Boy's
What the
been having a
fuck?
long career for years. Like
Talking about the
there's no
U.S. though, Miranda.
correlation.
Miranda, I'm talking about the U.S. though. This is
No,
nuts.
I was talking to Lens, and no,
What?
he didn't make Afrobeats more palatable. Like, let me mute. Let me just go on
Hold
mute.
on. I'm on your side because I think this is
What
ridiculous.
what
I'm
what
trying
I
to.
was
I'm
Yeah.
trying to
saying,
find.
Keep looking. Keep looking. Keep
I'm
looking.
trying to
what
find.
I was saying was that
I'm
what I
trying to
was saying
find.
was that when
Mate,
y'all
can I just
say
ask Portia, how did
Good
Drake make
luck.
Afrobeats more palatable? Like, like that statement is just blasphemous in itself. Like,
Because you know
like,
why?
what?
I'll explain it to you. You know why? It's all of the labels with all of the money are mostly in the US, correct? Correct? We can
No,
agree
are you
upon that
talking
one,
to
right?
me? Are you
Well,
talking to
yeah.
me?
The labels with all the money that have all the push, they're all in the US, right?
I mean, I guess.
Okay,
Okay.
so with that being said, they weren't even looking over in Africa. They weren't looking over in Africa back then. The minute they see the biggest artist and how profitable he was making money with that type of music, that's when they say, oh shit, maybe we should go up over there. Maybe we should start throwing out deals up over there. That's what I mean by that. At the end of the day, it's a business.
Hold on, Miranda. I want to get you on. Miranda, you gotta understand
Hello.
this conversation is surrounding around Billboard Hot 100 America. What do you guys use to gauge music in the UK? What's your platform called? I'm gonna search it up.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't pay attention to the. I guess, like, I would be more familiar with Hot 100 and that type of than any UK
Yeah, I'm gonna
charts. I'm
look up.
gonna be
I'm
very
gonna look up.
honest.
It's called official charts apparently. The UK
Yeah, but
charts is
I
called
don't think
official.
we pay attention to the
All
like
right,
the UK
can I
charts.
ask you if you know some of these people? Can I ask you? Let's see how
Okay.
accurate it is. Do you know Chase, Status, and Stormzy?
Yeah, Chase and Status. Yeah, they're big producers. They yeah.
Have you ever heard the song Backbone?
No.
That's the number one song in the UK right now.
Yeah, I haven't. Mm-mm.
Have you ever heard of Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish?
No. Billie
How
Billie
about
Eilish.
how
Yeah, I don't
about
listen to Billie Eilish.
Stargaze by? This way it gets confusing with British stuff because
Yeah,
I
that's
feel
what I'm
like
saying.
we.
I'm like in terms of music, I'm Americanized anyway, so I'll know all the American shit before
But
any UK shit. I'm
You
not.
know Kalani by Jordan Adetunji.
I don't listen to
Oh,
Kalani,
okay. So
sorry.
this is a
Yeah,
gap in
argument
conversation.
falling apart.
Kalani by Jordan Adetunji is the number 10 record in the UK right now. It's the number 26 record in the US right now
Okay.
on Billboard's Hot 100. I know that song.
Okay.
I think we probably need more UK representation on here.
I know.
Let me
Wait, can
try
I
to.
just say something? Push. I
Yeah, go
know
ahead,
who. Of
please,
course, I
please,
know
go
who
ahead.
Billie Eilish and Kalani are, but I don't listen to them. Like the fuck. That's
No,
two
no, no.
different
It's not
things.
about listening. It's about do you know the song?
No, I don't know the song. I know the artist, but I don't know that song.
Okay, fair enough. But this is the thing because the original conversation, again, I want to make sure we don't miss the point. The original conversation, and guys, we're getting ready to wrap up, is we're talking about culture vulturing and we're talking about do you add on to the concept,
Yeah.
to the genre? Do you add on? And then this conversation led us to talk about Drake added on to the Afrobeats vibe in the US, not internationally, in the US.
Okay,
And I'm
just
looking at the
specify
charts.
that because sometimes
What do
when
you
people are
consider the
having this conversation,
mainstream?
they don't. Yeah, why do you guys think that mainstream equals like specify geographically? Okay, yes, he introduced a whole bunch of listeners to Afrobeats. Yes, I agree with that in America, but don't say mainstream does not equal America. Like I
He
don't
just
get that
named who
correlation.
the top people are up over there right now, and it's
Hold
the
on,
same.
hold
It's
on.
very
Yeah, but
similar.
but we don't even UK, just like globally, like we can, that's a different conversation. Like mainstream, wait,
Miranda,
does it have to be popping off in America to be mainstream? Is that like
I
Miranda,
mean,
hold on, guys, hold on.
Dreamer ghost?
I think the
Anyway,
more problem, Miranda, is that I get what you're saying, but when we talk about mainstream, we've already agreed that a lot of what the U.S. does, entertainment wise, is transported and exported to the world, right? So Afrobeats may be the most popular thing in Nigeria, right? It may be popular and piano is popular in South Africa. But unfortunately, Miranda, you don't have to like it. Unfortunately, girl, like sometimes a lot of entertainment that's popularized in America, there's a reason why Tyler has to leave South Africa and come do media in America.
Hmm.
It's
no,
because
I understand that.
I
Yeah,
know,
I
but when the
agree with that.
media, but hear me out though, Miranda, when the media is being exported from America, we have to kind of use that as the overall mainstream. Even though I get you, like K-pop, there's records in K-pop that's popping in South Korea right now that we don't know. That's mainstream in South
No,
Korea.
but
But we have to
globally,
have some kind of
exactly.
judge.
Exactly. Okay, so are there any K-pop songs in the Hot 100 like right now, or the top
That's
10,
I'm glad
20,
you asked. No, maybe not in the top 10, but I'm glad you
or
say
top
that
20?
and I'm
But
glad
we
you
would
say that.
still call K-pop mainstream,
But Miranda,
yes?
you know why I'm glad you say that, Miranda? Because I'm from the Jersey area. There are times I have to adjust my schedule. Forget the Hot 100 charts for a while. I have to adjust my schedule because motherfucking K-pop artists are coming to New Jersey. Do you understand how crazy that is? And I'm confused because I'm like, who the fuck is listening to these people?
But that's my
You know what I'm saying?
point. Like that's my whole point. Shit can be, and like forget about, and let's use K-pop for example, right? Not even Korea. Globally, it's a massive thing. I don't listen to K-pop, but I know it's global. I would never say, oh, it ain't mainstream just because you guys name me any K-pop song or listen to any K-pop? Probably not, right? But it's still globally mainstream, right? Everywhere else, people still listen to this shit, right? Exactly. So that's my whole point. Like
But where do
No,
you
no,
that's
think?
you
my
Where do you
whole
think they?
fucking
Where do you think
point.
they've got? Where do you think they've gotten
The
that
fuck?
actual sound from? Where do you think K-pop got their sound from?
Of course, America is a massive influence. Of course, even all my favorite rappers are American. I'm not discounting that. I'm just saying that's not the only metric. What do you guys are not understanding?
The only reason
It's
it's the
like
only
the hell.
hear me out. The only
Does anyone
reason
understand what the fuck I'm saying, or am I
no,
like what the?
you're speaking a different language at this point. I'm sorry.
Okay.
no, no. Hold on, guys. Hold
Like
on.
it's pretty
I'm
simple to understand. Yes, of course, America is, of course, like America is one of like the metrics we use to like, oh, if someone like people have to go over there to pop, we know that the world is Americanized. We know that you guys have the greatest export of hip hop. We know all that. Like, how much big ups you want me to fucking give? I understand that. My whole point is just because some shit is not pop in America does not make it not mainstream.
No, that's
Mainstream,
fine. That's
like
fine.
that's like
No,
mainstream
hold
does
on.
not equal like American listeners. Like, it's
No,
so
that's fine.
simple.
I think, I
And
think, I think.
can I just
Why are
finish
you
this
Miranda,
taking
one point?
offense
Can I
to it
just
hold
finish
on,
though?
this
hold on,
one point?
hold on, Lance. Let her finish. Let her finish.
And my only point was to use K-pop as an example, as in, even for me, like, I'm not a big K-pop, I'm not even a K-pop fan, like, period, right? Of course it has American influences, but my point is most of us might not know certain K-pop as whatever, but it's still globally fucking mainstream. And I wouldn't say it's not
Okay,
mainstream just
me,
because it might not be the most popular in America. Like,
Miranda,
what
but
is
we
that? Not
never.
one plus one
Hold
equals
on,
fucking
Miranda. We
two?
never said that. We never said that though.
No, not you. I was like more
No,
directed at
but I
Lens and
think,
some people in the
but I,
comments, because
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I get it. Okay, so hold on, because I think sometimes now I'm gonna meet you, because I think sometimes, especially with UK people, I think we sometimes get like when the American exceptionalism starts coming out, and then UK people feel like our world is pretty big. You're right, but I think we have to. I think I'm doing something right now that's very relative to what the reality is. Is that sometimes, Miranda, is that we gotta have some kind of like checkpoints. We gotta have like, because then we're just gonna be arguing for no reason. We gotta have drawing points. We gotta have something that we use as a measurement. And to what Lens is saying, and I'm gonna unmute him right now because I gotta get to Jeffrey, and we gotta get out of here. Is that I'm trying to unmute Lens? Is that we have to have some type of checkpoints. And right now, Miranda, the checkpoints that I'm using is the Billboard 100, which is a very American-based thing. But I have to use that because, to be honest, the conversation we were having in regards to Drake was about America, right? We were talking about Afro beats being popular in America, to Ant's point. And I never unmuted Q, and I'm gonna unmute him now because he had some points. Jeffrey, sorry for unmuting
Yeah,
for you so long, but come on, let's go.
no, it's all good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, for sure, brother.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I don't think Drake's a culture vulture, man. I feel like
Gotta speak a little louder if you don't mind.
can you hear me? I don't think Drake's a culture vulture. I feel like half of the issue is for a lot of black folks, particularly in this country, we say we're not a monolith, but a lot of folks live in like these monolithic conditions. So our reference for like what a black person is in many cases, we have a very limited like perception of what that kind of person is. And if they don't fall into that and they're representing quote unquote the culture, we then say they're culture vultures. Because I'm from Michigan, man. So like Toronto, the distance between Michigan and Toronto is literally like 4 hours. It's like shorter than LA and the Bay. So Drake, that's like a kind of person in that part in that region of the country. Like, biracial, listens to rap. People forget Toronto is kind of the center between Chicago, Detroit, and the East Coast. So Dilla was huge every time I would go over there, which it makes sense why he would rap over Dilla shit. He was 19 when he came out. He's 36 now. I mean, so I'm sure his style would change over time. These are like things that happen with Jay-Z. But because he doesn't act like Jay-Z, and because he doesn't fall in this very limited scope of what we say a black person is, I think people are taking issue with literally the same moves as Jay-Z. Like Jay-Z came out Hawaiian Sophie, went from Hawaiian Sophie to gangster rap, selling dope, went from that to DMX sound, went from DMX sound to Ye sound, went from Ye sound to the more, Tom Ford, glam rap type shit. No one ever really came for him as hard. It's the exact same thing, like literally the exact same thing. But he represents the quote unquote monolith, I think, of what like black Americans are. So they don't go for him like how they go for Drake. I think that's my opinion.
Man, I get what you're saying, but it's like, and here's my thing, and I'm gonna get back on to Q, because Q is, and that's the thing. It's like when we're trying to understand where the lines are drawn, like that's what I'm trying to get a good understanding on. Like, where the bleeping lines drawn? Are the lines drawn when a fan says something we don't like? Are the lines drawn when the person doesn't look like what they're supposed to look like? Are the lines drawn when the person does something we don't like? Q, you been had a point to make, brother, and we're getting ready to wrap up. So I gotta go, y'all. I told y'all I had a day party to go to. I
Yeah,
better
nah,
stop playing with
he
me.
about to turn the day
Yo,
party
I
to a
got
night
yeah, I
party.
got a day party to go to. I almost forgot. Fucking with y'all. I got a day party to go to. Like, yo, why am I here?
This is a
It's a
party.
good time to go get into. Woman, music, food, jollof. Come on, bro. Like, what you talking about? I gotta go.
Nah, I got like 2 quick points. I'm gonna go in and out. First point, I do think it goes into the way Drake looks. I think the way he came into the game, soft spoken, the baby you my everything, like all of that, like when he came in doing all that, like he portrayed, like I ain't gonna say portrayed, but people came up with the narrative that he was soft because he was showing emotion, speaking to the women, all that stuff.
Musa, what's up? Thank you so much for the lighting. Go ahead.
He's speaking all that stuff.
Fuck you.
So when he gets older, grows the beard out, and like has a little bit more muscle under his belt, he can flex a little bit more muscle because he's been in the game for a while. It's like you can't do that. You was da. You used to be the
Yeah, we didn't see you
Voldemort
that
looking
way.
motherfucker with no
20K likes,
beard.
20K likes loading. 20K likes. We gonna finish out with 20K likes. Go ahead, Q.
Yeah, but you can't like talk all hard. Now you used to be the guy with no beard that looked like Voldemort. Like you can't talk. But he's like, I'm not that same guy. And even like I forgot that one song, but it's on the deluxe of Scary Hours when he was like I can't be that guy no more for these girls because like I've had my heart broken and all my stuff messed up by these girls just by me being in the industry. But that's my first point. My second point is when it comes to Drake, and I don't like how people like try to use him reaching back to bring like the, I guess we call it the Drake stimulus package, but I don't like when people like to use like him reaching back and helping people on as an insult, because like those people end up falling off or those people don't get that big buzz. I think we changed the idea of what the Drake stimulus package is. It isn't, oh, Drake gets you this song and now you're on forever. Like people will always know you as the guy that's this feature with Drake. You get this feature with Drake. Now it's time for you to show why you deserve to be here. Why Drake gave you that feature. Not, oh, you did the feature with Drake. You're in here now. You're stuck. So when people are not stuck and they're not consistently being like top guys, like Black Boy JB, like he wasn't gonna last, but like that's the Memphis cosign. But now it's time for him. It's time for Memphis and the Black Boy to prove that he deserved to stay that instead of, oh, you got the Drake features, you here now. Like even like when Fetty, he was talking about almost getting the Drake feature with My Way. Like he was like, bro, I messed up. Like I had the bag. Like the reason.
And then he did that shit. He did that shit with Remy Boy.
Yeah, like when he was talking to Act, he was like, bro, like I didn't even want to be on the song with Drake. I was trying to let my mans have it, because once you have a Drake,
shouldn't do that.
It's like an infinite money glitch. People are always gonna play your song because it got Drake on it. So I think that's what people don't understand what the Drake stimulus package is. Basically, you will always get some play off a song if it has Drake on it. Not you're gonna be in the main spotlight because you have a song with Drake. You know what I'm saying?
So let's talk about it. This is the way we're gonna close out the show. Guys, I want everybody to have a chance here. If you want to speak instead of putting Q, thank you so much. Great points, brother, because you led me to the exit of this show, which is what I'm gonna ask everyone. Because it sounds like Q, what you're saying, and don't unmute yourself because I want you to make sure that I want to make sure that I get this right. Kind of what you're saying is you and know who's the culture, what's the culture, what's how do we react to these actions? It sounds like what you're saying. How do we react to everybody's actions? For every action is a reaction. So my question to everyone is, as we head out, because I gotta go. Daddy got stuff to do. I mean, come on, guys. Like, I'm not gonna sit online all day. And yo, you know what? I'm gonna go live at the Afrobeats concert. Hit the flex bomb. Somebody hit the flex bomb. Unmute yourself. Hit the flex bomb. Hit the flex bomb. Hit the flex bomb and stop playing with me. Hit the flex bomb. You know what it is, New York City. We live. Stop playing. I'm going live. Matter of fact, fuck it. I said it. I'm going live at the concert. Not the concert. At the club. I'm going live at the club, but I'm not gonna talk. Y'all just gonna see the vibe. Anyway, sorry, Q. Let's get back to it. I'm going live. I'm gonna end this live, and when I get to the spot, I don't care if I got 2 viewers. I'm gonna let y'all see what's going on. I'm gonna go live for like an hour. The point is, as we go to everyone else, and if you want to chat, if you want to comment. If you want to jump on request. I guess the question now is, as we end up, is how do we solve the culture vulture issues? How do we solve? How do we keep culture vultures away? What do we do? What is there to do? I'm gonna start with Q, and I'm gonna go to everybody else. Up, chat, answer. If you want to speak, invite or tell me you want to invite. I'll put you up. Q, let's start with you. How do we solve this? How do we stop this?
Me personally, I think we're in the most consumer-based era of music ever. Like, you don't have to turn on the radio and hear what the radio is playing. If you got Spotify, if you got YouTube, anywhere you can find some music that you want to hear. So, in my personal opinion, because I've heard a lot of people say like, Ian only gets this type of love or gets this type of attraction because he white. There's 5 to 10 other black artists that we don't even know that are better than him. I'm like, well, put them on. If you feel like, instead of giving Ian this negative traction because of what you think he is, put on the actual artist that you actually want to hear. Like, I don't go out my way to listen to people on, like, if something going trend on TikTok, I'm not gonna go listen to it if I don't like it. I'm gonna go listen to what I like. I'm gonna listen to my playlist. So me personally, if you feel like there's artists that are better than these guys that got these culture vulture narratives on them, put those guys on. We need new artists. I made a video about this. The world is struggling to find new artists, new sounds. So me personally, just if you got something new or somebody that's not popping like you think they should, put them on. Make a video about them. Post them on your story. Just push these artists that deserve to be pushed. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, Coach. So your choice, your answer is put on people that you think deserve to be on.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much, brother. I'm gonna let you go so I can add on a few more people that I want to hear of. Let's move on to Musa. How do we solve this issue? What do we do? How do we solve this problem?
Well, I think like platforms and discussions like we're having now, continued conversations with corrective dialogue, like there's a lot of nuance to what's going on. And I think specifically with Drake in Toronto, there was no established sound or regional sound that the American market was hip to. So now that he's said like, hey, this is what encompasses Toronto sound to the United States hip hop market, maybe new artists that come up in the next couple of years or decades can reaffirm that sound, and this issue won't be what it is now. But I think just continue conversation.
So it sounds like what you're saying is taking where you're from, encompassing it, putting it at the forefront, and being proud of where you're from, and pushing that culture forward. Wherever you're from, whatever you're about, pushing that forward.
Yeah, exactly. Like we were talking about earlier about reaffirming who you are, because it's easier for people to connect and relate to, for sure.
Okay, I like that answer, brother. Thank you so much. I also think that song speaks to being true to yourself, because for you to be able to push anything to the forefront, it requires you to be being true to yourself. And I think that's something that a lot of people aren't speaking about. So I'm going to take that and associate it to what you're saying. To push things to the forefront, to speak to things that are about you, you have to be yourself. Very good point, brother. Thank you so much. I'm going to disconnect you here. Last call. I'm going up the ladder. If anybody else, I think we can hit 25K before I get out of here on the last four. If anybody else wants to get on, I'm gonna invite my folks. I don't know if I can invite. If you want to get on before we leave, please get on the invite. Lance, talk to me. How do we solve this? How do we solve this? What are some options for you?
Two things. One, I gotta beg to disagree that there's not a Toronto sound. There definitely is. We can all clarify that that's definitely a thing. But to answer the question as far as to how to fix it, I'll be honest with you. I don't think there's a way to fix it unless we take over the actual system, unless we actually are in control of what gets played and what gets pushed. The reason why I say that is, if you notice, as long as it sounds good, people don't care what they look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A prime example, Miley Cyrus. Yo, she was gyrating, doing all her. Everybody loved it. The minute she left hip hop, nobody cared about it. So at the end of the day, as long as you have a producer that's willing to make the sound, that's who you need to hold accountable, is the producer. But I think a lot of people forget, and this is the arguments that I get into and the debates that I get into is, I think so many people have the thought of music is still art, but at the end of the day, once you get to this level, it's a business, and that's all that matters.
Mm, mm. Good point. I think I struggle a little bit, Lens, with the business perspective, and I know that I'm being delusional. I know that I'm the problem, not you. I know, no, it's cool, bro. Because in a perfect world, the art, especially hip hop, is dominated by African American brothers and sisters. Overall, is dominated by black people. Like, there's a Nigerian guy that's the CEO of Def Jam right now. A lot of y'all might not know that he's the only black CEO. A lot of y'all don't know that. He's the CEO of Def Jam. I'm okay with that. Not to make this too racially and big, like, he's the only black CEO. Look it up. Look it up. There's only one black CEO of the major labels, and that's a Nigerian, Tunde. I can't remember his last name. Tunde, I think it's Balogun. Can we hit 25K on the live before we get out of here, please? And Lens, it's like, I'm happy with that, but it's like, come on, bro. Like even from a non-hip hop perspective, no, Jeffrey, that's not Akon's brother. Akon's brother's name Boo. His name is Boo Thias something. Tunde is a different cat. Tunde is an industry cat. He's an industry cat. Yeah, Boo Tyam. Tunde is an industry cat in all. He's industry as fuck. Tunde used to be at A&R. I know him. Yeah, I'm gonna stay on topic, Santan, but Tunde is not. Yeah, Tunde is not like, that's my man's because he's Nigerian, but he's not hip hop. Like, he's an industry motherfucker. Like, the industry love him. The industry love him. Like, he's industry as shit. But Lance, thank you so much. Let's move on.
Yo, one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay,
I
drinking. Can I be human? Is everybody okay? You see how I drink? Very demure, very classy, very mindful. I'm not slurring my words. I'm just sipping.
I I like playing devil's advocate. So that's the devil's advocate part. I think the way to fix it is that we need to clarify what type of hip hop it is. Because I think a lot of people
But my problem
misstep
with
in
that
saying like,
lens,
what
I
is
don't
hip
really
hop?
think I care. I don't. Oh, we hit 25K. Turn up, 25K, 25K, motherfuckers. But my problem with that lens is that, Angie, stop snitching. Why are you snitching? Kay was up there with the ice and the wine. Shut up. Stop snitching. That was an intimate live. That was me and y'all, one on one, by myself, one couch, nobody, just me. Antigua Grill. Y'all with me. Nobody. You ever go night night, nigga? You ever go night night? Anyway, Lens, the problem I think is that, I want to ask you a question, Lens, is when we talk about commercialism, okay, so at what point do we draw the line? Because if we say, oh, it's about money making, it's about money making, it's about money making, and I'm saying what I'm saying in terms of who is from the culture, who grew up around certain areas, and we're talking about Akon's brother, where do we draw the line? Is the responsibility on just Akon's brother, or is the responsibility on the audience not to pay attention?
But I think that goes to like, if we want to be real, the biggest portion of the audience that's actually paying for things is women and YT people. So
Okay, but the audience, the music, but that's the thin lines. I gotta push back, bro. The music and white people. Thank you so much, white people, for being true to yourself all the time. The music don't get to white people until we fucking rock with that shit. Am I lying, chat?
Yo, Lil Mabu's a huge point of that. I
Don't
don't
do
think
that.
that
Don't do
makes a
that. Like,
difference.
Lil Mabu doesn't work. No. I'm not gonna allow that. Lil Mabu doesn't work until we let it work. And I'm black people all throughout the world. I'm talking
Black people in America, when we say, and that's the thing, we don't know our own power. When we say, oh, and sometimes we say we're annoyed. Lil Mabu works because we're annoyed. We're like, what the fuck is this? And that outrage. Sometimes black people outrage things work.
Yeah,
Our
I
outrage
agree.
for Little Mabu and 504 makes Little Mabu work. Guess what? We outraged about Ian. Remember this. Ian is about to go crazy. Ian dropped a video right after Tyler the Creator was outraged, Lawrence. Tyler the Creator was outraged. You know what Boo Thiem, Akon's brother, said? Drop a video. We're outraged about Ian. About to pop. It doesn't work. Black anger is a profit, is a currency. Let me say that one more time, brother. Black anger is a currency. 2020 COVID riots, COVID protests, I don't want to call them riots, currency. When we're angry, Lens, it's a currency.
I
It it,
agree.
ma- it matters. It's a thing. I don't. Okay, let me get a little deeper because people want to say I don't get introspective. They're gonna treat me like Drake. I want to talk about the Palestinian protests, and I know we're supposed to be getting. I'm gonna stretch this to 6. I don't give a fuck. Fuck it. Who gives a shit? The fucking Afrobeats club can wait. Lens, let's talk about this. We've been talking about Palestinians, we've been talking about leftism, we've been talking about being true to ourselves and not care about politicians. Lens, keep it a buck. Chat, keep it a buck. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Kamala Harris, Joe Biden wasn't a problem until black people were involved. And Kamala Harris is Jamaican heritage. All types of black people, all types of black people. When we cared, people that supported Palestine were like, no, 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 you can't care. That's going to affect our cause. Black outrage is a currency. Black involvement is a currency. Chad, if I'm lying, please tell me.
I agree.
Black protest is a currency. The black voice all across the fucking diaspora is a currency. Black people are protesting in Kenya, it's a currency. If black people right now in Dominican Republic spoke, it's a currency. If black people in Brazil spoke, it's a currency. If black people in Atlanta spoke, it's a fucking currency. Black people speaking, black people caring is a currency. It matters. Black people performing well at the Olympics matters. So my question to you is this: worth it if we shut the fuck up? If we shut the fuck up about Ian Lunds, if we shut the fuck up about Ian, if Tyler never mentions Ian, does anybody give a fuck about Ian?
No.
So there's a responsibility for us. That's the lesson of this live. There's a responsibility for us as black people to shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And that goes along with the whole watering down the culture vulture narrative and name, sticking it to Drake. They need to stop doing that because they're watering down the name of actual culture vulture.
Lance, read that comment. I didn't know who Ian was until Tyler mentioned him.
Agree.
Lance, I didn't know who. Sorry, I'm gonna have a little water. Why y'all trying to sober me up? Like, Stacey, hold on, Stacey, with all due respect, shut the fuck up, Stacey. Why are you monitoring my drink ratio? First of all, this is hip hop. Hold on, this is hip hop 50.
Damn, wasn't that full when you opened it?
Mind your fucking business, Lance. Mind your business. Mind your business. What? Have some water. Have some water. I'll have whatever I want. We're talking about the culture. Mind your business. It was full, but that's not the point. Hip hop 50. Hip hop 50. Nas. Y'all see Nas. And I'm going live. I'm going live. Ain't no Henny on the Henny in the system. Ain't no dissing, guys. Stay on point because I'm not that drunk. I'm live. Guys. No, I had a mixer. What are you talking about? I had the Tropicana. What the fuck? Anyway, let's go back to the point because y'all trying to make me like seem like the drunk guy that ain't got no point. Stop it. You're not gonna do that to me. And I want to move on to Jeffrey. The reality is we have to take some responsibility, guys. Oh, Ramon, I don't know if we can get to 30K. I don't mind getting 30K, but I gotta go at 6 p.m. I gotta go. I told y'all can't say I'm like cheesing from or I'm like trying to like dodge y'all like I'm a celebrity. I told y'all I had an event to go to, and I'm gonna go live at that event so you guys can see what's going on at that event in an hour. But Lens, I'm gonna move on to Jeffrey. Zua, I want to talk about the Palestinian thing. Shout out to the Palestinian people and the people striving for Palestinian independence. They didn't feel threatened, Zuhal, until African American people, black people in America specifically, were talking about, voting for Kamala, and they saw that as a threat. So my argument is anything is anything a problem until black people speak? When we speak, and so what? You know what? We got to get our cachet up. We got to get stronger in other things. We got to get stronger in buildings, sales, capitalism. But it seems like the black voice all throughout the diaspora, but specifically black people in America, always seems to what matters most. Jeffrey, I'm gonna let you go, please. We hit 30K. We hit 30K. God bless.
I think two things have to happen.
Louder, Jeff. Louder. My
I
bad.
think two
Louder.
things have to happen. We got to stop. Like I like what he said, throwing around that word a lot. I think music in itself in a multicultural society, multinational, multiracial, multilanguage,
Uber.
you're gonna like share ideas. So I think we throw that word around too much. Tyler said what he said, but Tyler was rapping like was listening to rock and doing a lot of shit that people would label as white. So I think that's just part of being in America. So I think that's the first thing. We got to stop throwing that word around so much. And the second thing is we have to value like true creative shit in our community and like the
But
authentic.
maybe our voice, Jeffrey. We have to value our own voices.
Yeah, when it gets watered down and it gets too easy to make, that's where it gets, which is what's happened with rap. Eminem is Eminem because Eminem put in the work to be Eminem. So I'm not a big fan when people talk about Eminem being a culture vulture because it's like, he had to work too hard to become that good. And it's a rich history of that, whether you talk about certain jazz musicians, certain blues, white musicians, they had to really learn that shit. So they valued it and they would put black artists on and make sure everyone knew who black artists were because they knew their privilege as white people. So I think that's the first thing. We got to like make sure we only value in the highest of the highest shit. And I'm with you. Don't say anything. Don't say let them. Let's value who we value. Support independent artists. And the third thing is making the companies hold them accountable for what they're actually doing in the community. Like, are they actually doing anything? Do they have any nonprofits? Do they have any? Because at the end of the day, artists, they work for somebody. If you get signed to a label, that's low key your boss. So we can't hold them accountable necessarily on the shit that they do because they got families to feed. So I think our labels that have, all these black artists, what are they actually doing for the black community? If they have all these black artists. So I think labels, we should be, going at them and supporting more independent artists too.
No, I think you make some very good points. My thing is at the end of the day is like, what are we? Lynn says going back and planting some money trees. I want to talk to y'all a little bit before I move on to the next point. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. We hit 30K live. I'm so excited. I really want to, niggas gonna say it's the Henny talking. I'm gonna beat somebody up. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for sharing the live. Y'all do so much for me that I don't. Miranda, you're up next. Relax, Miranda. Miranda, I'm finna box you. You're upsetting me now. I don't know what's in the UK waters. You're upsetting me because you're next. Miranda, it's going to be me and you outside. It's going to be a unisex matchup because after Jeffrey, if you paid attention, you were next. Nah, ain't on my bad. Put your shit up, my nigga. Put your shit up. Put your shit up. Put your shit up. Put your shit up. Anyway, Jeffrey, thank you so much for bringing out some points because I think some of the things that I struggle with is trying to understand what we care about. Like, what do we care about, and what do we think artists should give back? I think you bring up a lot of good points because I think for someone like me, just on a TikTok basis, I wake up every day and I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to, virtue signal. I'm not trying to make y'all like me. I wake up every day and I think to myself, man, if I can make some more money off this app, if I can connect this to in person, if I can connect this to building some relationships, I got so many endeavors that I want to connect money to, that I want to put in the forefront. I think about a lot of unsigned artists that have been sending me music, and I'm like, why y'all sending me music? Who the hell am I? But I think about this stuff and I listen to this stuff, and I'm like, how can I make this the most fruitful it can be? And I think to your point, Jeffrey, it's like, when we talk about culture vulture, you can tell who cares, who really gives a shit about the art, who really gives a shit about the space that they exist in. So you make good points, brother. But at the end of the day, to the last few people before you, Jeffrey, who are we making popular? And the people that we're making popular, do they care enough? Do they go to sleep at night thinking about how they want to make this better? Miranda, finally, Miranda, I'm about to pop off on you. Unmute
Hello.
yourself, bro. What's popping? What's popping? Who's popping?
Hey, man. Hey,
Out
man.
of here,
Hey, man.
bro.
I'm just trying to live.
Eastside, stop
But
playing with me, bro.
um, okay. So a couple
So
points.
you don't
First,
forget the question: how do
yeah,
we
no, I
solve the
know.
problem?
Yeah, I know. Okay, but can I just make a couple points? So I didn't get to say before.
Absolutely, you can.
Number one, I don't think Drake is a culture vulture. By the way. Okay. So moving on to the just how do we solve? I feel like it's too far gone. I feel like from the moment in the early 90s when big companies when hip hop started to become like very profitable,
Once it became a capitalist venture.
yeah, once it became once they saw like obviously starts to become very profitable, actually saying that, yeah, that's when I think things start to go downhill, and we kind of opened up
Can
the
I ask you a
stage for
question, Miranda? Can I ask you a question, if you don't mind? Are
okay, yeah,
you
go on.
do you think that gatekeeping can happen with capitalism? Do you think that?
No,
So you think
I
that
feel because
if
once you have
capitalism?
an open
Oh no, I'm
market,
sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm so
sorry,
sorry.
sorry,
I
sorry.
want to get
Yeah,
a
go
I
on.
want to get a I want to get a stern answer. Do you
Okay.
think that gatekeeping cannot? I want a specific answer. Do you think that gatekeeping cannot happen because of capitalism? That's what I want to know.
Yes.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
impossible.
Yeah,
How
make
can
your
you have
point.
a free market and then like because so say if we say okay we're going to gatekeep, how do we implement that?
You make a good point, but the problem is the gatekeepers prevent the audience from listening. So what I'm
But
saying is that they get
this is what I'm saying. Like, okay, so you have capitalism, right? So you have to have a quote unquote free market, right? So anyone with
okay.
some capital can do, and especially now with social media, anyone anywhere in the world, no matter where they're from, can potentially have a fan base, right? So we can call these people culture wars, whatever, whatever, but as long as there's someone, and you don't even, it doesn't have to be a major label. It can be like there's people partner up with labels to do with licensing, distribution, whatever, whatever. So as long as there is a major profiting of you in some way, it doesn't matter what other people can call you culture vulture, this and that, because as long as they see you are profitable and you have a fan base, and sometimes you don't even need the major. So as long as you're going direct to consumer and you have what I'm saying, like obviously this Ian person, whoever the fuck he is, he has a fan base, right? Some people boo and other people felt like he's profitable, right?
Okay.
So yeah, we can say gatekeep, but ultimately I feel like it's on the consumer. Like other like
So Miranda, it sounds like you're saying that there is no solution.
yeah, that's my point.
You really believe there's no solution to culture
No,
vulture, and there's no solution. All right, hold on, because you got the most interesting point that I want to fucking push back on. But shout out to
oh
the gang.
god,
We're getting ready to get off. You know I got my eyes more Henny now. However, no Henny. Bottle's empty.
he
Bottle's
drinking
empty.
drinking,
Bottle is
damn.
fucking empty. Chat. Henny emojis. You see the emoji that Angie's using? Throw in your Henny emojis. Run up the Henny emojis. Put what
There's
Angie's
a
putting
henny
up.
emoji. Oh, drink.
Throw the Henny emoji. Empty, empty.
What's the
Henny
emoji?
emoji. Hip hop. I'm saving this bottle, by the way. It's about 50. Stop playing with me, Miranda. You know what's up. Henny emoji. in the chat.
I can't even find a flipping emoji. But anyway,
Okay, now Miranda, here's why I have a problem.
yeah.
If there's no solution, Miranda,
Mm-hmm.
so are you saying that basically? It sounds like you're saying that culture vulture is going to be a aspect of the game, and it is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And do you know when this
Wow.
started? I feel like it didn't even start with the artists. It started with some of these music executives like Leo Cohen and all these other people. Because let's can we just give big props to Dame, because I don't feel like we start talking about culture vulture until Dame Dash said it. To be very honest with you, until he coined that phrase and started
No,
mentioning these people.
no. Them guys made it popular, but Miranda, we've had a lot of conversation about this. But let me ask you a question, Miranda, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah.
As people keep throw up your Henny emojis, throw up your bleeping Henny emojis. Run this shit up. Run this shit up. Y'all see the Henny emoji? It's about to start raining. Stacy, mind your business. I'm about to head to the club. I told you. But Miranda, I have a question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Let's push back. Do you think culture vulturing has consequences? Let's start there, because it seems like you have a different perspective. Do you think there are consequences? Do you think it can be negative? Do you think that it can be a problem? Because I want
No,
to
of
move
course
on, but
it's
it
an
sounds like
issue.
we're not on the same page, me and you.
No, it's an issue, but my point is it's an issue, but we can't necessarily do anything about it until, because okay,
What do
let's
you
say
want us to
even
do? Just watch it happen?
that's what my point is. There's not really, it's really the onus is on the
Wow.
listener, it's on the consumer. That's all that matters.
But but
As long as
Miranda,
there's
the
a fan
listener,
base,
but
yeah.
Miranda, you're putting too much onus on the listener, baby girl. Like, come on, Miranda. You
That's the
know the
only
listener
that's
was
the only
stupid.
power
You
we
know
have.
he's stupid. Miranda, we had this conversation 2 lives ago. You and I both know the listener is smart and stupid at the same time.
Mm.
So
But that's what I'm saying. That's the only power we have is okay, and especially when it comes to social media, right? Like we'll say, "Oh, this is cool, this is corny," but we're watching. So that watch we've given, that view, that is the currency, right? So it's the same with music, as you were saying before earlier. If we don't like the power is to not be a fan of that person and to not go on YouTube and click on their song to give that person a view, to not watch their video to give that person a view, which translates into money, right? So my
okay.
point is there's not really much to be done, because as I said, this culture watch thing started as soon as they saw you know who I'm talking about, they, right? They, as soon as they saw hip hop was
Miranda,
profitable.
It sounds like what you're saying is that you're not saying this, but it sounds like what you're saying is you want more black people in executive spaces.
Well, but that's beyond music. That's just in general. That's
No,
I
no, no.
think
just
I
what
want to get into.
companies.
I don't want to dodge that conversation, Miranda,
Okay.
because I've lost you at the audience not having control. I've lost you at the middleman, and then
You
you got to
haven't
the
lost
point.
me. I just don't agree with. But anyways,
No, no,
go on.
no. Not agreeing is different from. But when I say I've lost you, when I say I've lost you, Miranda, I'm saying I've lost you at. Are people going to be able to make decisions that make a difference? Clearly, we've agreed that the audience can't do what we want them to do, right?
Mm.
Okay.
I
Now
don't
we've
agree with
agreed.
that.
No, 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 Miranda. I'm saying the
That was
audience.
me.
Okay. So what I'm asking you. Okay, let's go back to square one, and then I'm gonna move on.
Okay.
Okay. If it's not the audience, if it's not the execs, what would you, if you could snap your fingers right now, everything you said could happen. Yes, guys, I'm still going out. I'm getting the fuck out of here in 15 minutes, not 30. What if you could snap your fingers and everything you said would be true? How would you solve this problem?
Let me chime in. Let me chime in because I agree with
No,
That's wait.
Miranda.
no,
Hold
no.
on.
Hold
I
on,
Hold
agree
on.
with
One
Portia.
second.
I
Miranda.
want her, Portia. Hold on. I want her to say it. I want to hear it.
Hold on.
If
Because that's
everything
my
you could
my
demand
point
to
is
be
there's
true,
no
Miranda,
solution is
what would
my
it be?
issue. Because if
No, Miranda, that's not what I'm asking you. If you could snap your finger and everything you said would come true, what would you attack first? Exactly. No, no, no. It's okay, Miranda. Don't do me like that.
it's hard, because
Just
do you know
no. It's
why?
not. No, no, no. But
It
Miranda,
is.
I'm
Do you know
giving you an
why?
out.
Because in what? Okay, like forget about what I want, right? I'm talking about the real world, what's really
Oh,
happening, right?
Miranda. Miranda, but that's not
Listen,
what I'm
there's no
asking you, though.
solution. Is my point. There's no like
That's not what
She's
I'm
people.
asking
saying
you.
there is
Hey, Miranda,
solution,
hold
but
on,
the
Portia. Hold
masses
on. No,
need
no, no, hold
help.
on.
Oh,
This
actually,
is
no. Actually, I
ridiculous.
do have a thing. Do you
Okay,
know?
but Miranda,
I
hold
have a
on.
solution. Okay, go
Okay,
on.
but I'm asking you, remember, the solution that I'm asking of you is in a perfect world. I'm asking, Miranda,
Okay.
it's not on you. It's not up to you to figure this whole shit out. I'm asking if you had a perfect world, if everything you said could come true, what would you pick so I can move on to the next person? I'm
Okay.
saying it
Okay.
in a make believe world.
Okay. I was about to say it, man. Damn. I would go back to the era before social media. Because funny enough, even though the good point of social media is it gave people with disadvantaged backgrounds kind of an more even playing field to get into the industry, it also made it easier for quote unquote culture vultures, is my point. So when it was harder to get into the industry, right, there was less culture vultures. Ta-da!
Oh, no, I'm not mad at that though.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
No, I agree with that.
So
So
that's
it
in a
sounds like
perfect world, but now that we have more, it's easier to get into the industry, quote unquote, easier, right?
So
It's never
it
gonna
sounds like Miranda. It sounds like what you're saying is you think the openness of the free market of social media plays a huge role on this,
exactly, and exactly why I'm a socialist in every regard, because
and
there
that's why
has
you
to be
think it
some
can't
sort of
end the same way.
control.
It can't end the same way a lot of us want us to end.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like now,
Okay,
like
fair
yeah,
enough.
because you can't gatekeep. It's impossible to quote unquote
It was
gatekeep.
easier to gatekeep back then than now.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
When it
fair
was
enough.
harder
But
to get in
guess
the
what?
industry,
But
but
guess
yeah.
what, Miranda? The challenge for somebody like me, and it's not your fault, baby girl, it's not your fault. It's not up to you to figure it out. The challenge for somebody like me that's opening my big fat mouth on the internet is to come
Mm,
up with ideas and put it on a video,
mm,
right? And bring up ideas, and then hopefully the algorithm does what it does and it transfers to different people. It's not
yeah,
your responsibility. It's the responsibility of the people that want to be at the forefront of this music shit to come up with different ideas with the challenges of what you're presenting. So I'm okay with
yeah.
that. I'm gonna mute you now,
But
but
okay, but
we
this is
got
my
you.
last
Go
point.
ahead.
My last point,
Last
and I'm
point. Go
going.
ahead.
My last point, I'm going. Yeah. Okay. Um. Yeah, as you, but the bottom line is, right, and that's funny, someone said I sound like Kim Jong-un, that's funny, yeah, but yeah, I'm very left. But my whole point is that the onus, the one thing I very much agree with you with, the onus is on the listener. Consume what you want to fucking consume. Don't hate watch. Don't, oh, I have to check, because even this Ian guy, I still haven't typed into my YouTube. Because I don't even want to know what that's about. So as you're saying, the onus is on the listener, and it is what it is. As long as there's going to be a profit somewhere, no matter how corny you think it is, as long as they see there can be a profit made and there's a fan base to that person, it's going to make money no matter what you think, no matter what you say, no matter how much you think of
But
culture war. And
but
that's how I
it's
end. And everyone have a good night, and I'm gone.
all right, Miranda. Thank you so much. It is on us. You're right, but I don't think we're that smart. I'm gonna move on to Portia. Miranda is right, but I don't think I think she's depending too much on the listener. Portia, then Angie, then Sis, and then we're out of here. Portia, talk to me.
I
What's the
was
solution?
hearing I was hearing Miranda say something different than what you were hearing. What I heard her say is that there is no solution, but the masses will decide. And I agree with that. I don't think gatekeeping is the answer, because look at us now. Like, we can't even decide right now who to gatekeep. You know what I mean? Like, we're in disagreement about the whole Drake being, not supposed to be here. So we can't even decide amongst our own culture who we should be gatekeeping. So I don't think that's the solution, but I do think the masses will decide who they F with and who they don't F with. For example, Iggy Azalea. She was pretty much pushed out to us in the beginning and was an industry plant, and we caught on pretty fast that she was fake and not authentic, and she's not selling like she used to in the very beginning. And when our culture, Black people, stopped effing with her and didn't accept her, then white people followed along. So,
Portia, let me ask you a question. Let me
Well,
ask you
hold
a
on.
question.
6ix9ine is
Yeah.
also another example of that. Takashi 6ix9ine. Where has he been all this time? Lately. So I just think that the masses in the end will decide who we F with.
Portia,
And
let me ask you a question. I promise you, Portia, can you hear me?
yeah, that was my
I
read.
don't. No, it's okay. I don't. I promise you, if I'm lying, I'm flying. I have no corporate ties. I do have. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I do have music writing ties. I tell you all the time. I'm not gonna tell you who. I can't give you a clue that Travis Scott is one of them. I never lie to y'all. Would you consider me a gatekeeper? Even though you don't know me, I just got up here with 37,000 followers.
Would I consider you a gatekeeper? Why?
Yeah.
Because you
No,
have.
I'm glad you asked that. It's a yes or no question.
I don't consider you a gatekeeper. No.
But do you think I have some kind of influence?
Influence on TikTok. Yeah,
No,
sure.
no. Okay, that's fine. So now, am I responsible for making decisions about what goes on my page concerning hip hop? Yes or no?
Yeah, you are responsible for that.
Okay, now, with that said, you've admitted that I have no influence. I do know a few industry cats when it comes to writing. I do have some kind of influence on hip hop, but you've admitted that I have a responsibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't that same onus be passed on to every single person with a little bit of influence?
Well, because we can't control what people are going to do.
But it
We
doesn't matter if we can. Why can't everybody with a little bit of influence have some fucking guts and be like, I made a point. I'm gonna talk about him on this live right now. I made a point when I made my culture video to not fucking use the name Ian. I made a point to do that, Portia. Why can't every other person that has a little bit of influence say that?
Well, the reason for that is because we're not all going to agree on who should be left out of our culture.
But we agree that Ian is not exactly a great thing to the culture.
Well, no, because there was a guy in this chat earlier that was saying Ian's not that bad. Remember? I don't even know who Ian is, but remember him?
Okay,
He was saying Ian's not that bad.
Can Ian prove himself to me, even though I only have 37,000 followers? Can Ian? I'm glad Stacey said who's Ian. Can Ian prove himself to me before I ever mention his name on my page? Why can't other users say that? Why is that a tough talking point? Why can't you say? Why can't people have some fucking balls to think that you can get views without having to mention the hottest thing? And Musa, let's fucking talk about Vlad. I don't ever talk about Vlad on my page, for sure. Why can't I say that I don't need to talk about Vlad to get fucking views? I make money off my page. I never have to talk about none of the motherfuckers people are talking about. I'm getting fucking angry because I have the login. I have the fucking page. I make money. I don't have to talk about none of these niggas. I just have to be myself. So how come the rest of the people that are making videos can't be conscious about what's going on?
Because that's their choice not to. We can't control what other people are choosing. They
Why
might
aren't
not
they
think
conscious of this?
they might not think it's that bad. I don't know who Ian is, so I can't speak on Ian. So let's
You don't
use
know.
somebody
I'm
that we
glad.
can.
I'm fucking glad you don't know. And
But
I'm
let's
sorry that you now know because I opened my big fat mouth on my live. And go to my last video, guys, about culture vultures. I purposely made a video without talking about Ian. Give a damn if the video got 300 views. Give a damn if it got 1,000 views. But this is exactly what I'm talking about. We're in this space where we keep saying, oh, this guy popped off. This guy's a culture vulture. But nobody with the space wants to take a stand. Why do I have to talk about Vlad? Why do I have to talk about Ian? Why do I have to talk about Lil Mabu? Performing better than 97% of my creators. I see the fucking stats. Without having to mention none of these niggas' names. Securing my fucking space.
Yeah, they're probably choosing the engagement and they're probably choosing the money
I
as a
need
reason
water.
to talk about it. Oh Lord, you all right?
I need water. I need water, baby. I need water. It's
But they're
pissing me
probably
off.
choosing. They probably are choosing the money and the engagement, and that's why they're bringing it up to start conversations. But let's. I don't know who that is, so let's use somebody that we all know who's been called a culture vulture. I don't mean to bring him up again, but Drake. For the example with Drake, half the people are saying Drake is a culture vulture. Half the people are saying he's not. Who gets to decide that we
I think
gatekeep
they're
Drake?
wrong. I think they're
Well, yeah,
wrong.
half of us think they're wrong, but there's a lot of people who don't. So who gets to make
But
that
that's the
decision?
problem, though, Pusha. We're focusing on so much So much of people are wrong with focusing on that. And I told y'all we're getting ready to head out. I really gotta go 6:30. I really gotta get out of there. It's so fucking frustrating because I, as someone that's in a creator awards program, as somebody that's know what it's like to fish for views, as someone that's really out here, like I'm watching other creators. There are people that I like. There are people that I enjoy. There are people that I make fun of. There are people that I'm cool with. There are people that DM me, and I watch them do things that are very predatory, that are very leeching, that are very desperate, and they didn't try anything else. And that's why I'm getting so passionate. And if I can make the choice to talk about culture vultures without speaking on Ian, why can't you just do the same fucking thing? Why can't you say, hey, I'm gonna talk about culture vultures. I'm not gonna mention that rapper's name. Why? 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 Why can't we make decisions that are more beneficial towards the culture than ourselves? How much more money am I gonna make by making a video about Ian? I genuinely said, I swear to God, on like no niggas say on Big B's, I said, yo, why the fuck do I have to mention this Ian kid's name? I don't give a fuck about him. I don't listen to his music. For what? For fucking what? I make enough money. I never have to mention no rappers except Drake and Kendrick and J. Cole. They run the culture. I never have to talk about no other niggas to make money. Why do I have to talk about them? All I'm doing is promoting their shit. For what? For fucking what? Exactly. Musa niggas ain't got no code. Like, Portia, I'm gonna unmute you. Cause like, it's like, I hear what you're saying, Portia, but niggas ain't got no standards. Stand on something.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You should stand on something. My issue is that sometimes I don't always agree with the things that others stand on. So just because we disagree, I can't just depend on you because you say that this isn't right and this person shouldn't be allowed. What if I don't agree with that? I don't want to just depend on that person to be the voice of our entire culture. So that's
No,
why
that's
it's
fine. I'm talking about, but Portia, I'm fine. But I'm talking about even just the mention of people. Some people won't even stand on not mentioning people. I told y'all, I'll make y'all a promise. A lot of guys can't say this. I'm never gonna mention Ian on my page until I know what he is. If I'm not mentioning Ian on my page, I'll do it on live. Fuck that. He's never getting a video out of me until I know what he stands for. Why can't academics say that? Why can't Charlemagne say that?
well, it's a money game at the end of the day. It's an engagement game.
But it's a lot of money. It's a lot of engagement to be made other ways, though.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they don't have integrity at the end of the day. I mean, using academics and Charlemagne is probably like the two least people with
nah,
integrity out in our
it's
media.
pissing me off though, Portia, because I want money too. And I know this game. I'm in the content creation business. Yeah, I haven't hit the numbers these guys have hit, but I know that there's ways to make money. And I know that, yo, you want to know, y'all want to hear, I'm going to keep it a bean with y'all before we wrap up. I've been saying we're going to wrap up. You want to know how you can make money? You can talk about white people. That's how you make money. White people are very popular. Talk about Tom Cruise. You can make money. Find a way to talk about white people. You're going to make some fucking money. That hungry about it, talk about Marvel. You can make money. Talk about Disney. I just made a video about Disney today. You think I wasn't fucking thinking about money? Did that harm my community? I made a video about Marvel. I was like, let me see if this gets some views. It might go viral. It might not. You want to make some money? Talk about white people. But you don't have to talk about white people taking advantage of your culture.
Right.
I'm not gonna mention Ian on my fucking page. I swear to y'all, not. I'm not talking about Ian on my page. I don't care. He's gonna have to prove himself to me to talk about Ian. Hold on. I think last words before I move on to Angie, so we can wrap this up.
No, I don't have anything.
Thank you, Portia. Thank you so
Bye,
much. I crashed out. I'll crash out
You
on your
did crash
session.
out. You done crashed out on me a couple times today too. But that's
It
all right.
wasn't
I'm
on
letting it
you. It
slide.
wasn't
Let
on
it
you. It
slide.
wasn't on you. It
It
was
was the
on Trey.
Henny. It was the Henny.
Yeah, it was the Henny. I'm gonna blame it on the Henny. That's all right. But anyway,
Blame it on the goose. Tatinus. Blame it on the chone. Trending.
and
Blame it
so
on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol.
all right, I
Shorty
gotta go,
wanna
guys. I
be.
gotta get ready for my birthday
Bye, Portia.
tomorrow.
Happy
Happy birthday,
birthday. Woo,
Portia!
Yeah.
woo, woo, woo,
Yo, chat. Happy birthday to Portia one more time. If I fucking run up on y'all niggas, stop playing with me. Happy birthday. Say happy birthday to Portia if I bomb on y'all niggas. Stop playing. Run up the happy birthdays. Run up the cake. Run up the
Thanks, guys.
congratulations. Run up to the OVO Porsche. OVO Porsche. Happy birthday, OVO Porsche.
Maybe Drake will
Stop
send me
playing.
an owl chain or something. I don't know.
Drake can send you out. Oh yeah, that Newark is coming out states. I'll let that Newark out a little bit. Bye Portia. Happy birthday,
Bye.
many blessings. I hope this year is better than last, even though last was great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. God bless you.
Okay, what do the lightning bolts mean? You guys, I
I
don't
don't
know
know
this
why
thing.
you ask, girl. I just checked my account balance. Money gotta go brrr. Money gotta go brrr.
Oh, it's some money? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
It's
it's
money. It's money.
yeah.
Check your balance, girl. Check your balance.
Oh,
Check
okay.
your
Thank
balance,
y'all.
girl. Get your game up.
That's that birthday money, girl. Spend it right.
Thank you. I
All right, Angie, wrap it up. Angie, wrap it up. How
I
do we
mean,
solve this?
I
How do
know.
we solve this?
Listen, there's one way to solve this. Be careful about who you talk to, who you talk about and engage with on the internet. We live in an attention economy, right? Like, I loved your point. You're like, I'm not making a video about Ian. Then don't do it, right? Like, if people keep talking about him, that's how he's going to become something bigger than he probably should
One
be,
more thing.
right?
Yep.
Like, you
Yep.
think about, we talked about academics, Joe Budden, like, we all live in an attention economy. Like, academics to me is not someone that I see has a lot of integrity, but how come he was the number one, like, hip
Got on
hop,
complex. Got on
right?
complex.
Like, I was crazy that this man came up as number one, And I think it's a lot too because people give him the attention and he's just saying crazy shit all the time. And so for me, like, I think that's the biggest thing, right? Like, and even with like all the Drake hate, right? Like, I love that boy Wonder. Where he's like, you want some engagement, talk about Drake, like
Talk
that
about
meme
Drake.
posted.
Talk about Drake.
Like, I'm like, if you hate Drake, then stop fucking talking about him. Like, it's just crazy. Like, like on Twitter and Reddit, like, a lot of people just love to spew hate about Drake all the time. And it's like, if you don't like him, don't talk about him. And I promise you, if you stop talking about him, he'll go away, And that's my biggest thing. Like, I always try to be very careful about who and what I engage with on the internet. And even like this call out culture or things like that can be really negative because positive or negative engagement is engagement, and people will benefit from that, right? Like, look at Ian, right? I think you mentioned like, oh, now he's gonna drop a video, like now people are going to be streaming his shit, people are going to be looking at him on IG and whatever other socials he has to see what's going on in his life, and that's engagement for him. And now he's getting a platform that he probably should have never had, and probably would have never had if it wasn't for Tyler the Creator saying something else. So that's my biggest thing, like.
So the onus is on the audience right now to
100%.
practice discretion.
100%. Because any type of engagement you give an artist, good or bad, is good for them. And you want someone to go away, stop talking about them.
Angie, I want to ask you this as a person that's last before we leave out. How do we control ourselves when people are clearly tricking and gaslighting us?
You can't pay it any mind.
But that's not.
And I know it's hard.
Realistic.
I know. You know what?
That's
then talk about it. You know what? Then talk about it amongst your people. Talk about it to people in real life, not on the internet. But like to come and correct, no one's gonna listen to you. If you're gonna come defend yourself, like you gotta listen. As someone who loves to fight on the internet with people, okay, like we have to stop, right? Like, because like it's gonna be really hard for you to change someone's mind if they're gaslighting you or if they're clowning you.
Okay, Angie. User 1614 says and make one. Tyler never mentioned Ian. He did a good job. You think it's very strategic that Tyler doesn't mention Ian. He talks about Ian in a way everybody knows who we're talking about, but he made sure we didn't talk about. He wasn't talking about Ian, but everybody knew he was talking about Ian. It's the same way when I made my culture video, I didn't say Ian's name, and I think Tyler is smart enough to know that mention nobody's name. So how do we solve this? Do we talk about people in circles without mentioning their name? Cool, right? He's right. Silent never mentioned him. But the way you said it, Angie, before I let you go, is mind your own business. Talk about it in your own community. Don't give a shine or anything. Am I getting that right?
You are, yeah.
It is what it is. We can try, but we probably not gonna solve it. Anyway, gang, thank you so much. Any last words, Angie?
Nah, have a good time at your night party tonight. All right.
I'm gonna try to go.
And
It's 6:34.
I'm always gonna clown you
Oh,
on the red wine and ice,
stop
forever
playing!
and
Stop playing!
always.
Yo, respect the game. Respect the game. That should be it. Stop
White
playing. Get out of here.
white wine.
Get
Okay.
out of here. Respect the
Nah.
game. Stop talking about my drink choices.
White
I'm
wine
about
and
to
ice.
disconnect
Okay.
you.
Red wine,
Respect the fucking game. I don't care what you think, bro. I don't care what
criminal.
you think.
Okay.
Bye, Angie. Dead it, Angie. Dead it, Angie. We don't care what Angie thinks. We about to play Travis Scott. We getting wrap up. HQ, I'm sort of like you have a good time. Yes, sir. Can y'all hear the music? My bitch love Coco. We gonna play some real ratchet shit. We're back, baby. We're back, baby. Woo! Let me see some. Okay. I'm gonna put the. Do you think fan success is bottlenecked by the culture eventually? Sometimes. We getting ready to head out. I'm gonna go live, guys. I'm gonna go live at the club. I'm gonna go live at the club. It's not gonna be a communicative live. I'm definitely calling an Uber. I'm not driving, Sarita. I'm not driving. Are you crazy? I'm not driving. Favorite album of the 2020s? Off season, J. Cole. Off season, J. Cole. I don't need to eat sexy. What are you, my mom? You're not my dad. We getting wrap up. You hear the laptop, niggas. I'm about to head to the party. I'm gonna go live. I'm a little soft, y'all can tell. That's fine, y'all family. I'm heading to the live, and I'm gonna be there in about 30 minutes. Shout out to y'all. Thank you so much for engaging. Thank you so much for participating in this live. Any last words? Henny K's heading out. Drink water at the club. Shut up. I'm gonna do whatever I want. I'm going live at the club. When I go, Henny K. HQK, Henny K. When I go live at the club, I'm taking an Uber to the club. Y'all better be there. You don't have to be long for that, but be there. Salute. God bless. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all stay safe. Y'all have a great night. See me at the club. You heard? See me at the club.